Myself, I'm Steve Nakatomi. We're here with our producer Brad Keys, of course, El Chapo himself. Our producer Brad. We're joined today with Cash, Chapo himself, the who's who of all the RFI conglomerates, decentralized conglomerate, of course. Cash,
we got some feedback going on right now.
Cash,
we got some feedback going on.
I think that you guys, are you guys listening to the? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Hello. All right, I think we're all right.
Hello. Test. Can we get a microphone check from everyone? Chapo, go.
There we go. That's hilarious. All right, it's not feedbacking yet.
Everybody be quiet. Everybody be quiet quick and test everyone. Chapo, go. Be quiet. Quiet quick and test everyone. Chapo, go.
Oh, okay, so whoever's listening to Twitch, you need to mute it.
Is that you, Chapo?
Yeah, here, hold on.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Can now Twitch chat, can you guys hear us?
Chapo, do you have headphones in? You might need to be you might have to put headphones in.
I couldn't work out my headphones.
That's all right.
But I should be good now, right?
We can hear echo from you.
From me?
Yes.
You might just need to turn down our volume just a little bit so that you can still hear us, but it doesn't find its way into the... Hello?
How's that sound better?
Yep. Yes. I think that's good. Sweet. Oh, sweet. We have 22 people on the live stream, which is sick.
Nice. All right. Welcome to everyone again. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you for your patience once again. Are we good with the echo now? Is it better?
Yeah. I think we're good. How is... Twitch people, like, are we all right?
Live in 2,
live
1,
now.
0. Live now.
All right, boom.
All right, we are live. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Steve Nakatomi, and this is the weekly reflection brought to you by RFI, all the good folks over here, trying to bring you financial freedom one day at a time, one Discord at a time. This is our initial broadcast, our debut on the live stream. So thank you all for bearing with us. I want to introduce everyone. We have our great producer, Brad Keys, aka S2 Bomb. Introduce yourself, Brad.
Yo, welcome to the stream. I hope everything goes well. Bear with us with any technical problems. I hope that you on Twitch can see and hear us. All right, 30 of you. This is sick. I'm stoked. Heck yeah.
We're excited. Thank you all for joining with us. If we have any technical problems, Brad will be providing his address at the end of the broadcast, and you can directly visit him at the end. Thank you, Brad. And of course, let's give a big welcome to El Crypto Chapo himself. El Chapo, welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Hey guys, I'm excited to be talking instead of typing, so this is cool. Thanks for getting everything set up.
Personally, I think it's better format for all of us. I think I'm going to try to keep it professional, which is going to be a real change of pace for me. So thank you all. And of course, we have today's special guest. Is he on with this? Is Cash here?
Yeah, Cash is on. Yeah.
He's there. Hey Cash, welcome to the broadcast. Say something. Cash, of course, from Onreach with the exciting launch that's happening right now. Cash, welcome to the weekly reflection.
We're live, buddy. And we can't hear you. I think you got to be closer. Oh,
we lost Cash. We adjusted him out.
Okay, so maybe go back to your settings.
I wonder if it adjusts live. I wonder if it does. If you adjust, you got to close it out to get the result. Like we adjusted him out completely.
Yeah, so maybe just pull. Yeah, I can hear you now.
There he is.
Okay, let's stick with that.
And
47 guys.
Yeah,
and we have Kata as well. You can see him looking very dapper there in the screen on the video there.
Awesome. Well, maybe
nice to meet, man.
Nice to meet you, Kate. Do you think that you could just say something so that I know that the audio is working? You know, producer Brad here. So you're muted. Oh, you're muted. Yes. Okay. See, this is what these are the kinks.
I got it. I took it off, I think.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was not allowed to unmute myself.
No, that's all right. That was my fault. We're trying to keep this clean here, and you got auto muted. There we go. You should be sweet now.
Great, Cater. Welcome to the broadcast. Cater is am I correct? You're a brilliant developer. Hopefully I'm not understating, but I heard great things about this gentleman. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm not really a developer. I'm more like an engineer. But for the past 10 years, I switched back to developing product and technologies with Cash App. So basically, we've been building stuff which a lot of telecom carriers are using right now, and we hope to do the same in the crypto space. Okay, so hopefully in the future, a lot of platforms are going to be working on our tech.
What he's trying to say is he can't wait to fuck shit up, basically.
I know. If you guys don't know, Cater and Cash, to be sensitive about it, they're not fucking around, guys. These guys are serious businessmen. They've been serious in the business world for a long time, and they're bringing their seriousness to the blockchain and to the crypto space. And specifically, they're using their know-how, their power, their connections in the real world, in the finance industry, to help bridge the fiat world to the crypto world. And they see a lot of value in using RFI as part of that bridge. Would that be a fair summary?
Very fair. Very fair, Steve.
I appreciate that. So, all right, Brad, so I think your sensitivity is up a little bit on your microphone. Like, you come in really loud and crisp. I think it might be your microphone. If you turn the sensitivity down, I think anytime like you move or breathe, it cuts to you. Like, that's why the video keeps cutting over there.
What I see is different.
I know, yeah. You don't like. I don't know if you want to look at the Twitch on mute in the background, but it keeps cutting to you, and even when other people are talking, I think just like basic noise is cutting to you.
Oh dear. All right. Let's just turn down my input volume a bit. How's that? Is that a bit better?
We're gonna have to see when somebody else talks. Does anybody else want to talk real quick?
You have individual power to turn me down.
The video. It's the video that cuts to you. The video cuts to you because your microphone is sensitive.
It's not showing what you're seeing, so you don't need to worry about that. I'm producer Brad here, but thanks for the...
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Well, let's kick it off. Let's get into this. Now that we've kind of did our intros, do we have anybody else that I've missed? I mean, of course, we have some RFI legends that are joining us. And I see everyone from Dubs to Crypto Hester to Zen Light. Thank you all for joining us. Please interact with the chat. If you have any questions, comments, everyone's going to be watching in the Clubhouse chat. I know there's a few chat channels out here, but the Clubhouse chat will be the one that we're using. If you guys have any questions, comments, please fire away. Feedback, tell us what we're doing terrible. Tell me when I talk too fast and too long. I'll try to fix that.
And for any mods that are here, please jump on Twitch as well, so that you can be there and chat to them as well, because we've got almost 40 people on Twitch, which is incredible. I think we don't usually get indicators when we do these weekly reflections of how many people we have. So also the people that are there that are watching, if you could click follow, that'd be awesome as well, because maybe Twitch will be the platform we do this on. It seems like you guys have found it pretty easy, and we'll keep iterating on this. This is our first test, so yeah.
Yep. All right, buddy, let's get into it. Let's get into the meat of this stuff. This is our 10th edition. Is that correct? It's our
10 anniversary.
10th? Amen to 10. It's our first live recording. And Chapo, why don't you start getting into this? Let's let Chapo go. He's over there in the bullpen. He's been warming up. He's loosened. He's ready to go. Let's let him go.
Well, are we looking to start with an update on the ecosystem, or what are we doing, Steve? I mean, you're running the outline here.
You have the weekly reflection live, the sheet in front of you, correct? I hope you're looking at it, because I sent it to you before. But you know what? We're gonna send it to you one more time on Telegram real quick.
You're talking about our run sheet for the day?
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we kind of talked about. Yeah, go ahead.
We can start. I think probably everybody here is already familiar with RFI, but what the Reflex ecosystem is. But I think it's always good to start out with a little bit of a refresher for people and anybody who's here for the first time, if this is the way that you're going to try to learn about it and what we're doing here. I think.
So let's give him three sentences. 3 sentences or less. Tell me what it is. If you stumbled in off the street, what would you say RFI would be?
Well, RFI is a protocol that seamlessly compounds the tokens in your own wallet. So we have our 3 pillars of RFI of simple, safe, and sustainable. And the big concept with RFI is that it's the first token ever that you can just buy and hold, and you earn. You earn passive income by just buying and holding it. So that's the simplicity of it.
Delivered right to your wallet.
You hold the tokens in your wallet the whole time, so it's non-custodial, which makes it safer. And we're building this full ecosystem, which you'll hear about, later in this segment, where it creates the sustainable yield as we grow our network. That's what really is going to ultimately make it sustainable. So I'm excited about what we're talking about today for the main topic with Onreach. It's a project that we've talked about for months. Cash and I have spent a lot of hours talking about, and it's really a critical piece to the long-term health and success of RFI, and so it's exciting to have him here and try to explain it to some people, since it's a complex project. So this should be really cool.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear what Cash has to say. I have a lot of questions. I've been talking with Cash for months. I still have questions. I think we all do. So I think that's something great. So that's why we want to encourage everyone to keep questions coming. We're going to try to line up. If you have questions about Onreach, about RFI, about the blend of the two, please fire away. Please don't be timid in there. So I think let's get right into the progress updates. Chapo, do you want to talk about any new developments with RFI? I know we've had some stuff. There's been a lot of chatter about the infinity pools, the dashboard. Do you want to kind of start there, maybe with the infinity pools?
Sure, we can talk a little bit about the infinity pools. We feel like the infinity pools, now this is related to the Elevate project. If anybody missed it or hasn't read the Medium article, the infinity pools are a concept that's new to crypto in general, but new to DeFi also. And the concept is that you can create a never-ending reward pool. So this is something that literally can go on forever and continue to produce rewards for people who are willing to stake and lock up their RFI or their LE tokens. This is a Morpheus creation. It's brilliant. It's, again, just on the cutting edge. If you look at all other rewards pools that have really ever been created, usually there's kind of like diminishing returns over time. The reward output becomes less and less in these farming pools, and then eventually it just goes away. So they're finite. The concept of the infinity pools is pretty cool, where you can have a non-dilutive pool that goes on forever, and those are almost contradictory, concepts, which I think it's almost like that has to be impossible, right? There's no possible way you can create that but it can be, it has been made possible through the mechanics of RFI and LE. And so we're really excited about this, guys. I mean, this is something which is going to constrict supply for RFI and constrict supply for LE by getting people to lock up their tokens and stake them in exchange for these rewards. Anytime you're taking supply off the market and constricting supply, generally that's a bullish case for price.
Absolutely.
And it's also creating demand at the same time, right? If we're offering a never-ending reward pool and what you need in order to participate is LE or RFI tokens, it creates a two-way positive price action event where you're staking, locking up tokens, and pulling supply while also creating additional demand.
So
I think
if you had to break it down, and so if you had to break it down into So what is the most advantageous part of participating in this versus participating in a pool, a farming pool per se, that you might find just on anywhere that gets launched on any given day? What's more advantageous for participating with this infinity pool?
Yeah, I'd say there's some big differentiators here. I mean, number one is that it's single-sided staking. So most farming pools, you're providing liquidity. So you have like a token pair, a liquidity pair that you're providing in order to do the farming. And when you do that, you risk impermanent loss. And impermanent loss is basically missed out gains, or it's a loss that you incur by owning liquidity instead of both tokens individually. And in this case, we're not staking liquidity in these infinity pools. You're just staking the tokens themselves. So you'd stake RFI or you'd stake ELI. You're not staking like an RFI ELI liquidity pair or an RFI ETH liquidity pair. And so there's no impermanent loss. And that's one of the biggest downsides of farming a lot of times, is the impermanent loss that you actually experience on your principal liquidity tokens. So these infinity pools, again, it's more like a staking pool where there is no impermanent loss. But the real, I'll say the real secret sauce here, since there are other single-sided staking pools out there, the real secret sauce is the fact that this is never ending. There's not these diminishing returns where it's on a curve or a halvening schedule like most of the outputs that you're going to get from other rewards pools. This is a consistent type of reward structure, which is actually likely going to grow over time and is infinite. It's never ending.
That's the important part right there. I think we need to harp on that with everyone. It's never ending, and everyone knows about the diminishing returns on farming contracts. That's the exciting part, and it's maintaining those rewards and maintaining that value for the long term for all the holders, locking it up and putting it away forever.
Other farming pools, you want to get in early and farm the hell out of them early. And if you get in early and farm them early and then bounce, you're the one who makes out. But the rewards are getting sold off consistently, and you're getting diluted as the supply keeps going up, and it's not sustainable. This is something that's sustainable long term, and you're also not getting diluted. And so that's the real revolutionary piece is that it's sustainable. It's long term, as in forever, and it's non-dilutive, and there's also no impermanent loss.
And I think we combine that with the fact that the yield is delivered frictionlessly right to your wallet. You don't have the risk of a hack. You don't have the risk of, there's no loss. There's no potential loss from technology error or from developer error. It just gets delivered because it's been proven. Because of all of us here. We are all a testimonial. We're all testimonials waiting to happen. We all have yield delivered to our wallet every single day. And if you haven't owned RFI yet, you can go buy it. You can look in your wallet. That number of RFI will never go down. It will only go up, and it goes up every single day. And I think that's a great point to make for everyone who's just getting here.
The infinity pools are a little bit different. So, with RFI and with ELI, you can do just that. You buy them, number goes up every day, you keep them in your own wallet. These infinity pools, though, are staking contracts.
I misspoke. I didn't mean to say that it was not. I meant the delivery to your contract is how it happens. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I apologize.
Right. That's right, but the delivery to the contracts is seamless, and then the contracts will issue the rewards. Now, but along those lines of safety, I guess one of the updates here for everyone, I think everybody's wondering, when are the infinity pools going to be ready, right? If everybody's as excited as I am about the infinity pools, you're wondering, when's it going to be here? And people are asking every day, when are we going to release these things? So to give the community an update on where we stand on the infinity pools. The contracts are done. We already have one audit in progress right now on the infinity pools. There's going to be a large percentage of all of the reserve Elevate or ELI tokens, which are put into the contract here for rewards. And so we need to be really sure that we have it right, and that there aren't bugs, and that there aren't exploits, and that we don't risk user funds, and we also don't risk the reserve funds that we're using in order to provide rewards. And so in order to really make sure, we're kind of taking a threefold approach. One is that we're getting an audit. 2 is that we're going to do a public beta and test it and make sure that it works, under different users. And then 3 is we're actually going to get a second audit on it. So before the release of the Infinity pools, we want to have all 3 of those things done. And I think it really comes down to making sure that our user funds are safe, making sure that the LE reserve funds are safe. And then number 3 is we're using the Infinity pools. We think that this is such a novel concept that it's one of the most badass yield pools that in all of DeFi. And so this is an opportunity for us to attract new holders, new investors, new users, and promote this as, promote this to create some demand for the RFI and the Elevate tokens.
I think that's important.
I think
right there. That's an important point. We need to give the proper amount of excitement, of build up, of hype to this event, because this is something spectacular and everyone needs to know about that. And we want everyone in the community that's listening right now, help us get the message out there. I mean, it's not advantageous for you not to have other people in there with you. It's advantageous for us all to have more people in there with us. And this is a great deal for everyone involved.
Yep, it's very it's very novel, nothing like it out there, and honestly, it's going to be extremely attractive. So once we have it validated and safe, we're going to feel comfortable blasting this thing out. Getting some hype and demand for these, and participation in these Infinity pools, and we want investors to feel confident throwing a big stack at this if they want. And so in order to do that, it takes longer than we want. They always say you can have good, cheap, or fast. You pick 2, and what we don't want is not good here. We definitely want the good, and I think we all want fast, but the reality is sometimes you've just got to sacrifice that for quality. And this is the type of mechanic or type of contract or attribute to our protocol that we want to tout and hype and really take full advantage of. And in order to do that, we want to have this thing fully rolled out. And that kind of leads me into the next progress update, which is our dashboard. The actual dashboard for the Infinity pools is going to be extremely important for people to understand how much they're actually earning. I think everybody knows we started with a dashboard a while ago for RFI, but
I was just going to ask you, I think it's a good way to introduce, just to kind of segment this up, just so people can understand stuff. I know we can kind of talk about this a lot. We want to break this up into the portions where people can digest it quickly. If you had to describe the dashboard, how would you describe it for people that are new to this, to the broadcast, or new to the ecosystem, just really quickly?
I think the dashboard is a one-stop shop to get a snapshot of what RFI is and how it works, and also to manage your own RFI holdings.
Awesome.
It's the best visual representation of that.
No, I think that's a great point right there, and we have to get that out. I think a lot of people, even in the ecosystem, don't fully grasp the power of that, and it shows what it really does. So go ahead. Sorry. So what are the new updates on the dashboard? I know we've been working with Braden.
Yeah, I think, one of the important things is that we created a dashboard. Braden's one of our community members, for anybody who doesn't know him, and he's an extremely talented developer, specifically designed our dashboard custom for, Reflect and for RFI. And that dashboard really hasn't been updated too much. Braden hasn't been a paid employee of the Reflect Foundation or anything like that. He's been just a volunteer, and he has a full-time job. So,
but he has been doing a great job. It's come a long way from a place that we don't have anyone fully dedicated doing that. I don't know if he's out there. I saw him earlier. Shout out Braden if you're still out there listening. But we're building on this thing. Yeah.
An incredible asset to have as part of our community, and the fact that we've had him build this thing, and if you guys have looked at our dashboard, it's really slick, and so we've had that available now for months, probably almost 3 months now, since very early on in the project, and I know a lot of people who are using that, who are holders. there's a lot more functionality that we want to build into it. And now that our ecosystem is growing, as in we have the Infinity pools that are going to be released, we now have Elevate also, which has some different mechanics in it and requires a different type of dashboard. And we now have Onreach that's coming on board too. Our ecosystem is extremely complicated in the fact that we have multiple tokens, and the mechanics of the way that our projects or our protocols work are different than every other protocol in the space. It's game changing. Because it's game changing, there aren't other platforms like Dex Tools doesn't handle us well, and Zerion doesn't handle us well, and a lot of these other platforms to try to view your portfolio and view your holdings, they all fall woefully short in really explaining RFI and showing us the data on your actual income, and historical gains and that sort of thing that we can do if we build out our custom dashboard for ourselves.
That's exciting. I think that's the part, is that we can customize it to show our strengths, and maybe in a way that a traditional interface couldn't do. So I think that's exciting, and I think our progress on that is going to be awesome. And I think when we really get that thing fine-tuned and polished, it's going to be I think it's going to be a shining beacon for our whole ecosystem.
I think I find that I hear from a lot of people that we don't have one place that people can go to learn about RFI and learn about the Reflect ecosystem. And I view the dashboard as that place. It's a starting point. It has links to other places where you could go, but it has our FAQ section on it. It has a snapshot of how it works. It has the explainer about the black hole. It has all of our social media links on it. It has, those sort of things that help you. You can toggle between the various projects and see how the mechanics of them differ, and what data is displayed is different because the mechanics are different. And so we view, as a kind of leadership group here, we're viewing the dashboard as our number one product. And because of that, we've recently made the decision to start reinvesting in a much deeper dashboard that has a lot more enhanced functionality for not just RFI, but the other projects in the ecosystem. And really make it a center point or centerpiece for teaching other people or new people to the community about RFI, and also provide that as like a central utility for anybody who owns RFI and the different ecosystem components, so that if you talk to somebody in our community, everybody uses the dashboard. If you're not using the dashboard, you're really missing out. Are you kidding me? Kind of thing.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and it's a very powerful tool, and it's something that again, it's going to be exciting, and we're building towards it, and it's something that we're focused on. Just to let everyone know here, that's something that's priority for us. And so we have some comments that people are talking about. We're kind of doing this on the fly, and we encourage people to ask questions. We're asking about, I've seen the Bitmart integration and receiving the 1%. Well, as it happens, we actually have so our guest today actually has some connections over there with the Bitmart folks. I'm not sure if he's able to comment on that or not. I'm not sure if Cash can comment on that. Maybe he has some insight that we don't have. Cash, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. We had some back and forwards today. We're trying to get to a resolution with the integration. I believe there is a solution on the table, which both Chapo and I are trying to improve on. But at the very least, we are moving forward. The CEO is involved at this stage. So what you guys got to understand is that what we proposed to Bitmart was not just a single solution for RFI. Okay, it was a community effort in terms of Onreach, Ellie, and then anything else that comes up within our ecosystem. So for them to actually make the integration work is very, very important, because many of the centralized exchanges in the marketplace now, they all want a piece of DeFi, right? And the issue currently with DEXs against SEXs is purely that the DEXs are coming up and the SEXs are losing a bit of volume as a result. So the SEXs all want the centralized exchanges all want a piece of DeFi, but they need to conform to the way we work. which is, pretty cool tokenomics, taxes, distributions. And so they need to make it work in order to get a piece of our market. And this is something that we're going to see, I think, quite regularly with all the centralized exchanges that we're talking to, which is that their technology may need a little bit of an upgrade in order to work with what we do in the DeFi space. But nonetheless, it will be done. I have seen other projects talk about integrations that have been done. I'm a little skeptical, considering I know the level of work involved. So considering that we've been involved with Bitmark for a while, and the level of detail we're going into with those guys, I think we're pretty close. But
okay, so I'm sorry if my audio is cutting out. So what you're saying is that we're working towards it. We're not sitting on our haunches. We're making progress, and we're doing it at the highest levels with the deepest integration possible. Is that a fair assessment?
Exactly. With a view to them knowing that they've got another 2 tokens coming, which is both Ali and Onreach.
Yeah, we're not doing this for a flash in the pan. This is a deep integration. This is building a relationship, and this is a platform. This is step 1 in a much larger plan to have much larger, much broader access to the Reflect and the broader ecosystem that we're building here. So, thank you, Cash.
I can assure you, I mean, we want stuff to happen as fast as anybody else does, but things don't happen as quickly as you want sometimes, and Bitmart's tech team we're working with, but this is really I'll say it's a proof of concept about how RA has the ability to integrate with a centralized exchange. And once we have the process down, it becomes really easy for the next centralized exchange that we're pushing, right? We have a template of how it works. So just like anything else, this is our first, session here on Discord and Twitch, and it's not going to be perfect, but we'll get better over time. I think that's how you've got the centralized exchange integrations too. It's not going to be this painful the second time around.
Also to add, not everybody works as fast as we do, to be fair. So I think that's another quite important point, is that the strides that this community have made in such a small period of time, it's ridiculous. How fast things have evolved is crazy. And typically the normal working world will struggle to keep up. So,
I agree. That's a great point, is that just because you don't see the price action going up into the right crazy doesn't mean that we're not building a foundation that's going to you have to build the launch pad for the rocket. And that's what we're doing right now, I think, across the board. I apologize if my audio is cutting in and out.
No, you're good, bro.
I think
you're good.
Now, man. Sound good.
All right. That's a great time. So I think we can talk quickly about
real quick. Can I just finish? I did want to finish one just talking about the dashboard, since I didn't quite get done wrapping up where we went to that question.
Sorry, I'm just trying to keep it moving.
I wanted everybody to know that that's okay. We actually did commit. One update I wanted to let everybody know is that we did commit, and the Reflect Foundation hired Braden. And so although Braden has a full-time job, he's a member of our ecosystem and has been for some time, and he committed to working for the Reflect Foundation for 20 hours a week. So that means that our dashboard, at a bare minimum, right? Braden mostly is working on our dashboard. So at a bare minimum, we're going to have 20 hours of developer work per week that's going to be going into continually refining that and making it the best product that we can. And we're committed that if Braden needs further support, or there's some other subcontracting for development work that we need, we're all about it. I mean, it's a focus of ours. So we've, he's one of our few full-time hires that we've made because of the commitment to making that dashboard something that's fully usable and productive and something we can tout.
And that's a great point. So we can bridge that right now and mention that if any of you listening are interested in working or contributing to the community, please do not be shy about reaching out to Brad or Damo or myself or Chapo or anyone. We need help with everything. And just because you might not think that you're incredibly proficient, we could use you. If you're willing to work, if you're excited about the project and the ecosystem, we can find something for you to do, and we can coach you up really fast. And I think that we can use help on everything from the dashboard to marketing to community relations to investor relations. We need help with everything because there's so much to do and not enough hours in the day.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, Zen.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Zen, would you be able to get the volunteer form and push it out in this chat and also the Twitch chat, or at least put it here and someone else put it on Twitch? Because yeah, Zen's actually the one that will be sort of funneling all these people to. It's pretty awesome. Zen's a volunteer, guys, and Zen is, you know, like we have a lot of offers, a lot of things, like whether it's people offering volunteer work, people offering their marketing, and so simple things that you may be able to help with is just be able to just manage those like relationships. If you're good at creating forms, if you're good at Google Docs, there's so many little things that that you can just help serve with that even is less than an hour a week, but that could really bless us in just our workflow.
No, absolutely, and shout out to Zen Light. You're in good hands with Zen Light.
Seriously,
good people
legend.
right there.
Absolute legend.
Sorry, go ahead, Chapo.
No, that's a great point. I just wanted to reiterate how much it is important that we are a community here, and that although there are people like myself and the other people talking here who have taken leadership roles, there are so many things to do that you could contribute in less than an hour a week. You know, I always say, people are like, well, I'm not really sure if I have anything to offer. It's like, well, do you have opinions? If you have opinions, you can offer. you got something to offer.
That's exactly right.
You can come and just look at the dashboard and be like, hey, and come up with a list of your opinions about the dashboard and provide kind of customer or user experience feedback. You can provide your opinions on the website once we have the foundation website up and running. Any type of constructive criticism is beneficial for us. Helping us organize that is good. We have lots of Medium articles to write if you're somebody who likes to write. There's just so many different things that we need help with and support with. And I would tell you, even though we have somebody like Crypto Hester right now that does a lot of the graphic design and infographics for us, it would be great if we had 6 of him. We have so many things to do, so if you enjoy that kind of stuff, you can join. We could create a team of graphic designers with Andrew Minton and Crypto Hester and the people who are doing that kind of stuff right now. So just anything you're passionate about, just tell us what you are passionate about, and I'm sure we can somehow incorporate that into helping the ecosystem.
Yes,
so
absolutely. Shout out to the mountain man, Andrew Minton. That guy's a legend. And the best part about this is that you can get in here with people who are incredible about what they do, and you can learn from them just because it's a community effort. I think so. Crypto Hester, I know he's learning a lot from Andrew because Andrew is an incredible graphics guy, and I don't know if you see some of the things he does. Incredible. And that's the beautiful part about the community, is that it brings people from all corners of the world with all skill sets that are all very complementary. And if you don't have the skill set, or you're encouraged about the process, you're encouraged about where this project is going, then get in here and we'll coach you up. I promise. There's so much to do. And thank you all for going along with this ride with us, because we're very, very serious about this. We're passionate about it, and we do this because we see the potential.
Yep.
But to go on, so I guess, do you have anything else about the dashboard, or should we talk more about the upcoming marketing that we're thinking about doing here?
I don't think so. I think everybody should just be excited that the dashboard isn't. I know that it's probably not everything you want it to be right now, but understand that there's some strong development taking place. There's going to be a really badass interface for the infinity pools that will show, we're not just going to have you send them to a random staking contract and hope that you can go to Etherscan and see what you're earning. There's going to be some really, really cool functionality in that interface. And now we're incorporating the other tokens, and we're going to have more time to continue to develop and refine the actual RFI dashboard so that it works, and it works consistently, and it's never 10 days behind, and there aren't bugs, and we'll add functionality into it, like have Trust Wallet compatibility instead of just MetaMask, and Coinbase Wallet compatibility instead of just MetaMask, and maybe be able to do multiple accounts, and all these kind of development things. That's all in the works. It's just we now have the support to do it.
We just need the time and the manpower. And if you're a dev out there, hey, you reach out to me directly. I'd like to buy you a cup of coffee. And And I think just to quickly, I know we want to get into topics. I know we don't have a lot of time. I know Cash and Kaylor got some work to do. So maybe do we want to jump right into the main topic? Or you want to touch on the RFI LE pool real quick, just a minute, as like a last ecosystem news, Chapo?
Yeah, let me talk a little bit about that. So the RFI LE liquidity pool, that liquidity pair, as a lot of you probably know already, we have a substantial amount of arbitrage transactions which we're seeing between Elevate and Reflect, between RFI and LE. Because we have that liquidity pair up like that, there's some issues with Uniswap's coding. There's actually a lot of it. Why do you think they're coming out with a V3, right? They're getting some things fixed, but right now the benefit of having an RFI and LE liquidity pair is kind of outweighed by the negatives of losing ETH to the ARB bots. And in evaluating some blockchain data, we've really come to the determination that it's best for us to take that RFI LE pair down. And so you may have noticed that some of the larger liquidity pair holders like myself and like RFI Jesus have removed our liquidity. We haven't sold anything. We just broke up the liquidity so that there's not nearly as big of a liquidity pool there. And what that does is it limits the profitability of arbitrage transactions. So less ETH gets drained from us as an ecosystem.
Okay, great. So
this is a temporary move, right, Chapo? Like basically what's going on here is Uniswap V2 has a general issue with arbitrage bots just wreaking havoc on some trading pairs. And that's something that's in the roadmap for Uniswap to fix with V3, including most likely some gas saving solutions expected in V3. Also, RFI and LE in Onreach, once the liquidity pairing options are available, is going to be, as far as I understand it, the highest yield bearing option you have on Onreach. So it's still very important that we have that liquidity pairing. But for the time being, as a temporary thing, we are advising that people remove their liquidity from that pair to minimize the attack surface.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, that's well said. This is a temporary move. Obviously, the RFI and LE pair is something that's extremely valuable. And once we have the arbitrage path closed, that attack vector closed, then we can provide as much as we want, and we'll likely start that actual sextuple yield type strategy for rewarding it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
But right now, we're recommending, if you're somebody who owns RFI and LE liquidity, we're recommending that you remove the liquidity, and we'd actually ask that you remove the liquidity because it will help us maintain the ETH in our ecosystem. And that RFI and LE pair, also for your own sake, you won't suffer the impermanent loss right now.
Great, awesome.
So, and in the meantime, we have the Onreach single token staking coming live potentially within the next handful of days once they're finished with the liquidity generation event. And then once we get that second audit on the infinity pools, and get through a short beta period for the infinity pools, then you'll have single-sided staking in the infinity pools as well. So you can put both tokens to some really great productive work, making accelerated returns without any impermanent loss exposure.
Great, and I think that's a great segue into our main topic. We're closing up potential risk points. We're trying to tighten up the value loss. We want to maintain this value. We want to grow the value, and then that's just for the meantime. That's just that's coin holder protection. And where we're going to build the foundation from is the next gentleman we're bringing in to talk about Onreach. We're bringing Cash in to talk about Onreach and all the exciting things they're doing over there. I know I have a lot of questions. If anyone has any questions right now, it's the time to put them into the chat, because the man himself is stepping up to talk about what he's doing. I'm going to let Chapo ask a lot more of these questions, because you have to know what you know and don't know, and I don't know a lot. I'm excited to learn about Onreach right now. But let's welcome him back in, the man himself.
Can I quickly say something before we do that? Because we're learning the flow of this, and I think something that I've learned from watching many Twitch streamers is that you got to thank the people that are here watching, and so we already have a bunch of people on Discord. I think it's over 30 people in chat here. Also, we have over 50 people on Twitch. So just welcome everyone. Please hit the follow button on Twitch, and now we're getting into our chat with Cash, and Clubhouse is full. Is that actually it's 20 out of 25, 25 out of 25 for video, but I feel like you should be able to jump in and
I don't know. Yeah, we'll try to.
Regardless, guys, just jump over to the Twitch. I'll send the link over again. You're going to get everything there, and you can chat there. And for anyone that wants to ask questions to Enreach, we have a Google form where all of the questions that we get, we'll try and answer them and throw them at Cash and Kadar. So yeah, all right. Thank you guys. Thanks for that.
Yeah, and like to stick with that Twitch, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my ETH wallet address in the stream in the channel. If anybody wants to send me some ETH, that would be great as well. So with that, let's bring in Cash, man. Cash, welcome back.
Hey guys.
Hey, so I don't know, where do you want to start? Again, we talked very high level about Onreach and how is that bridge from the traditional finance world into the crypto finance world. I know we have a very broad understanding about it. I mean, what if you were in an elevator pitch? Is that something? I mean, what would your elevator pitch be about your project if you had 15 seconds?
I don't do elevator pitches, Steve. Okay, so
What a legend.
everybody knows I love to talk, so I'm gonna just talk. Okay.
Hit us. All right, so I'm gonna try to break it up. I'm just gonna try to break it up. So for our sake, when we're making segments later, I'm gonna try to break you up. So don't take offense if I'm like trying to change things up. So go ahead. All right, Cash, hit us. Let's go.
So Onreach we incepted Onreach. I think it was in 2017, right, Kader? Back then, we were just building ComSettle, our platform, and we weren't even live. We had some telcos using the first part of our platform, but at the time, crypto was blowing up, right? And this was a time when I bought 15,000 Link for £5,000, and I remember at the time.
Entry.
Not a bad entry. Yeah, not a bad entry. And at the time, Kato was like, no, it's one huge Ponzi scheme. This ain't going to work. It's going to be down. Real finance is what we do, And but we always had this idea, which was that we were in a market where the insurance companies were becoming a lot more expensive to insure credit for, pretty much bulletproof government level telecom companies. It was getting harder to get the insurance, never mind it being more expensive. And then on top of that, getting liquidity, meaning getting actual cash for a debt for effectively what is like a governmental company was very, very difficult as well, and expensive. So we always had this idea that we wanted to underwrite credit for telcos, okay? But our platform wasn't built. We hadn't gone through the experience of what we've went through for the last 4 years, which was understanding what we needed to deliver and actually delivering. And that's a key part, is actually delivering something to customers who pay you for it.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a very important part that differentiates what you're doing. In our space, everyone gets a website together with an idea and they go raise 500 ETH and God knows what they do with it. This gentleman speaking right now, he built this of his own vision from the real world before he ever went and tried to raise any money. He's done this from the ground up for all the right reasons because of the value he can add. So I thought that's important. To say. So go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Get back to it.
To be fair, I didn't build any of it. Okay, Kayla built everything. Okay, literally single-handedly built most of it. I would say 95% of it. Okay, I just had an idea, and he was stupid enough to follow me, and we lost a huge amount of money along the way, and we went through a lot of heartaches. But you are where you are because of what you do, right? So the key part was that in the last couple of years, what we have saw in the telecoms market and what we've seen in fintech, we knew there was like a rumbling, an undertone of something coming, right? And it was just weird. Last year, so I talked about link that I bought. I had 15,000. I lost it all. Okay, I lost it all plus another 35,000 pounds. I really hope my wife isn't listening. But I lost all that. Okay, which is now worth like 500,000 at least. Yeah, and I lost it because I played the same casino all of us have been playing, which was I went into Binance. I realized you could lev long. Okay, and I lev longed. And I longed hard, okay? And I did stupid stuff, like I didn't put stop losses whilst I was driving through the night coming back from London. Yeah, and it's on you. Yeah, well, when you wake up 10 o'clock in the morning and all your alarms are going off and you're like, what's going on?
That's nightmare fuel right there.
But what that gave us, well, what that gave me was it gave me a massive bolt up the arse, okay, which was I need to learn more about why Link was becoming so valuable in DeFi, okay? And that's how I got into DeFi, is that I had this token, I lost it all, and I wanted to get it back. So the only way I could go and get it back is by understanding why everybody wanted it and why all these market makers are doing what they're doing, where they dump the market, pump the market, dump the market. So at this point, I was still a noob, okay? We went and learned. Kate and I basically learned. We played around. We learned. We started losing a little bit more money doing stuff, and then we started jumping into DeFi jumping into DeFi hard, okay? And one of the reasons why I was so closely connected with IYF was it was my first DeFi play. Okay, so the first one you always have a little bit of love for, right? A little bit of emotional attachment. That was my first one. And funny enough, it's like the experience we had with IYF, like meeting Chapo, meeting Macro, meeting Junkie, meeting everybody who I've met along the way. And maybe some of you guys are here from those days. It showed us what Onreach had to be. Because to be fair, when we were approached by our lawyers, Brian, Stephen, Andrew, they came to us and said, you guys should do a DeFi community. You should do it for this. And we turned around and they said, look, well, we already had the idea years ago. We've actually got the domain from years ago. Still, let's do it, you know? But we didn't know how to execute. So we had to go and be a community and be part of other communities. And we had the idea for Onreach before RFI came along. And we'd already agreed with Heritage Ventures, who Orlando is our business partner, but Heritage Ventures was the VC that seeded us at Optimize. And we've been along for the ride with them. So when we spoke with Orlando and told them, look, we're going to build this. And the reason we're building it is that we feel that we can inject huge liquidity into telecoms, okay, by using DeFi. And it took him 4 months to understand. So what we are doing in DeFi, even simple stuff like RFI, for normal people and even traditional finance people, this is space age. This is alien stuff, right? So, Steve, that's where you've got to cut in. Go on.
Yeah, no, I don't understand. I've been in DeFi for about 6 minutes. I don't really understand a lot. And that's why I think I'm in a good position to be the person kind of asking questions, because I don't understand a lot, but I know it's so complex and so integrated, but yet so brilliant. And it's hard to understand. So here's a question I'd like to ask, if I may. What was your attraction to RFI and how it could bring more value to your ecosystem? What was your initial thought process of, wow, I can really add value to what we're building with RFI as a component?
The simple model. To be honest, I kicked myself that we didn't think of it. I'll be honest with you. Okay, had a little bit of jealous feels towards Morph here.
Shout out Morpheus! Shout out Morpheus! Where are you? Are you listening in, Morpheus? We'll never know.
But so simple, so simple, but so effective. Right? Just take 1% off the top, redistribute it to everybody. I mean, you can't get any simpler. Now the execution of that is very difficult. Rebase mechanisms are hard to work with. They are expensive, meaning that they do take up a lot of gas. So you have to build very sleek code. Kader and I were talking about how we can simplify things to reduce the gas cost. But that simple model gives you, it gives so many different adaptations. It gives you so many different ways in which you can skin the cat. Now, what I love about RFI, okay, and maybe not a lot of people know this, maybe not a lot of people will like it, but I'm a Muslim, okay, and interest in our religion is not something that's it's frowned upon, right? It's sometimes people call it haram. Maybe people don't really understand what interest is in modern finance, but usury, okay, it's haram, okay. But the redistribution of that 1% is profit. It's yield, okay. What that means is that this application is actually compliant with Sharia law, which means that if you are able to construct mechanisms using this type of model or even this type of protocol, then you are able to then create instruments that allow you to create stuff like halal mortgages. Okay. And this is the key part that I was really attracted to, was that we actually found something. And one of the reasons why I'm big in RFI now is because after Chapo told me about RFI, literally the following day, I got contacted by a group of Muslim professionals who have their own Discord group, who were all heavy in RFI as well. And it was just like within days, I found this amazing community of you guys and, other guys who we all just flocked, right? We just literally flocked onto this Telegram group, and there's like 5,000 of us all of a sudden. So it's first of all,
let's be real here, though, Cash. I think we should be honest with I think we should probably be honest with the community here about why you really are building it around RFI. It's because there was one late night many moons ago, and I whispered in your ear, Cash, buy RFI.
I think the words were, I don't tell you to do many things or ask you to do many things or give you tips, but you need to do this now, no questions asked. I think that was...
So you did. And so you did, and you bought an absolute shitload of RFI, and since then you've been doing nothing but buying RFI. Now that you have a big fat bag, you need to make sure that this thing flies. And so you know what you're going to do, since builders build, you're going to build until RFI is worth $10, whether people like it or not. And so you're not going to give up until it is, and you're going to use what you've been trying to create for years, and in addition, leveraging all of the existing business connections you have to ultimately push RFI to $10. And we're all here to support what you're doing. So that's the real reason. You can fluff it up however you want, but the reality is it's because it's going to make you a shitload of money, and you're a financial engineer. So let's make it happen together.
To be fair, I'm going to correct one thing. I wasn't buying with my money, so I've actually been buying with somebody else.
It was more fun than somebody else.
That's a real investor right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's a real way you do it. You don't invest your own money. You invest someone else's money. That's why we have a real financial engineer in our corner, and that's why I'm excited. The guys like Cash being here, in all seriousness, he's here because he sees that there's money to be made. He might just drag us all kicking and screaming 6x from here. Like, no matter what we can do, it's that exciting, and what we can build around that core mechanism is why we're all here. And so I think we should all be grateful. We need to thank our lucky stars that Cash is here, because he's doing the heavy lifting that a lot of us are not able to do. So yeah, thank you, Cash. Thank you from
nothing to thank me. Look, what we have is we have a really strong community, okay? And I come from a very strong community in my city, okay? So I understand the power of that. And this is one of the best communities that I've come across in DeFi. And the fact that I would be stupid, me and Kader would be stupid not to want to build for this community, because the way we've been welcomed in, you guys want us to build. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to find other like-minded builders who think in the same way we do. And in the end, we don't really do it for money. You know, we don't really do it for money. We do it because of ego, because we can. The money is just like, it's the leaderboard, right?
Are usable, right?
Of course. I mean, it's always about user experience, but you want, in the end, if something, okay, it's usable. It's like we make telcos money because they use our platform, it's usable. And we make money doing it at the same time. We know that if we give telcos credit, we will make money, they will make money. And so it's a positive feedback loop, right? So ultimately what you have is when you have demand for something, you got to build for it, not build something and go create the demand. We've got the demand. We always had it. So now we just got to financially engineer that situation.
I want to touch on two things real quick. Number one, you said that we build not for the money, but for ego. You know, at some point, money becomes a scoreboard, and it's not really about the money itself. It's more about validating. It's more about ego, you know, and I can tell you I've got plenty of it. I know you do too, Cash. But I really was here to talk about Onreach as the main topic, and I think one of the things that I've been so excited about and that's kept me here and kept me passionate about RFI for the last 3 months, even though we've been through some dark times and these dips and where the community seems dead and it's like, man, we're still building. What's really kept me going this whole time is knowing that Onreach is coming, and it's because I'm a builder just like Cash is, and we want to build. And what Onreach is to me, although Onreach is so many things, and we could talk about it for 3 hours, I'm sure, or more. Onreach is a launch pad. Onreach will be a pre-sale platform. Onreach is an incubator. Onreach is a toolbox for builders, for devs, for people with ideas, for people who are leaders to come and create things. And they're all going to be created around RFI. And this is where the ecosystem really flourishes, is where you have people coming to a centralized hub like Onreach that has highly differentiated offerings. And there's a reason why people would want to build with Onreach. It's because they can offer things like validated KYC services, fiat on-ramping, legal compliance, validated audited staking contracts, a community to support it, a marketing team that's ready to go make sure that they have visibility, an established community that they get slotted into. I mean, these are things, guys, that other launch pads and incubators, they struggle to offer, but this is something that's been in the works for so long. We have the liquidity to offer them even, and we're looping them into a platform and a protocol which is highly successful and growing. And for me, at least, when somebody asks me what is Onreach, that's a very difficult question to answer, but my elevator speech in short would be that Onreach is a one-stop shop for building. And we're going to basically be using it to build around RFI to unlock value for RFI. Now, in turn, it's going to unlock value for Onreach holders, and it's going to hopefully, help these developers and the people who are working towards it, and provide, contract work for people in our community who are ready to help and all that kind of stuff. But in a real short sentence, if you're trying to figure out what Onreach is, Onreach is a big toolbox to build. And it's going to have funding to build too. On top of having all the tools, it's also going to have a lot of funding from the liquidity that's there. So it's really exciting. There's going to be nothing that's holding us back other than us making it happen. We'll have all of the tools and resources in order to build whatever we want. And that's what's kept me here. That's what keeps me passionate, is thinking about, once this thing's in place, it essentially provides that launch pad Steve talked about that we've been trying to create. It is the launch pad for the rocket. That Onreach is that rocket launch pad. Now we've just got to figure out what rockets we want to build and launch them.
Yeah, something that's really quite excited me about Enreach that I keep just thinking about is this: you're bridging between the traditional finance world, but also just I guess just the world in general, like outside of crypto, and you're creating a bridge into not just crypto but into DeFi, which look, I don't know many things that do a good job of bridging, especially when it comes to fiat into crypto. And I guess I'd like, if you wanted to chat at all about your stable coins, we would probably like to hear about it and how that's going to play out in that whole bridging thing.
Well, one of the benefits we have being a regulated fintech, okay, is that we so right now we have Euro, GBP, US dollar infrastructure. Now, the biggest issue, and again, this is all based on experiences, okay? The biggest issue we have as a regulated company in Europe is that there are some jurisdictions that you can't deliver a service to, okay? I'll give you an example. Let's say Yemen or Niger, or some of these African countries who are, for whatever reason, due to maybe dictatorships or wars or whatever it might be, they're on a sanction list. Okay. When you're a regulated company, you cannot deliver payment services or regulated services to certain jurisdictions and the companies that reside in those jurisdictions. But these companies suffer from the same issues that many other companies suffer from, which is they lack cash flow, they're not paid on time, they don't have enough resources, they simply can't get money in or out of their country or their company. They simply can't get money in or out of their country. Oh, a little bit of feedback. Mouse, is that you? Out of their country. Oh, a little bit of feedback. Mouse.
Got him.
Good man. So what we devised was, how could you move liquidity without moving it through bank accounts? And it was staring us in the face all along, stable coins. Okay. So we came up with this model that if at any point there was a telco that was in a jurisdiction that we couldn't deliver a service to, that we would not need to have to revert back to the banking infrastructure, but we could revert to the stablecoin infrastructure so that they could move money as they needed to, deliver their services and act as telcos with the rest of the market as they needed to, whether it was credit or on a prepaid basis. But rather than us delivering them a bank account, we can't do that. We deliver them a stablecoin. That same stablecoin integrated and interoperable with the same telco systems that all these telcos use. That's literally how it came around, Brad. It was that simple idea of, if you can't give them fiat and you can't give them a bank account, what can you give them? And then we were looking at what Tether was doing. We were looking at what Circle was doing. Okay, let's try that. And then that's how it's, everything's just sort of steamrolled into where we are now, is that we have these assets, and if you're going to create a stable coin and you want a huge amount of stable coin out in the market, okay, you need to back it against something. So initially, yes, we have fiat, okay, but what happens if you've got a growing crypto asset like Bitcoin? But if you don't have Bitcoin, you've got RFI, right? So if RFI expands, then the stable coin is going to expand with it, and it'll keep expanding, and you'll have a lot more stable coin going around the market. And ultimately, the stable coin is going to be backed by RFI in order to give it a level of coverage in the current market. But also there will be a reserve of fiat for those who need to get in and out from the traditional world as well. So what we see RFI and Unreach delivering is the ability to actually distribute and mass distribute the stablecoin for Unreach. Okay. And ultimately the plan, and as Chapo crudely said, yes, we are going to make a lot of money. Okay. But I'm not allowed to talk about money or targets anymore because the lawyers told me not to. But the point is that we need to make RFI, we need to get it to $10. Okay. And we need to get to around about 3 million a day in volume. And what that allows us to do is that allows us to start financially engineering certain situations. Okay. And one of those main situations that I'm trying to create and what we're trying to design here is the ability to knock the volatility out of the asset. Okay. And that comes about by creating certain derivatives and instruments. And what you need to back up those derivatives and instruments is often a level of liquidity in the back end, as well as volume. And that's one of the reasons why I have this $10 target, is that we just know how far we can inflate the value of the stablecoin distribution, and what we need to do with RFI in order to get us there. If you look at seigniorage coins, okay, they always have some form of bond at the back end, okay? RFI is our bond.
Yep. Hello? Sorry. No, I agree with 100%. And that's the reason I'm in this as well, is the financial implications. The broad financial implications from migrating traditional finance into our world. And I think we might have lost Cash. Did we lose Cash? I don't know.
No, he just turns on his screen on and off, I think.
Okay, just making sure you're still there. But I think that's the most exciting part, is that in the crypto space, you can spin up a coin, you can have an idea and a website. It's providing real value for people. And in the real world, in the traditional finance world, you value businesses based on the value it delivers to its customers and its users. And we have a great ecosystem, and now we got to build the products that bring that value to the coin holders. And I think that's where Cash is doing something that maybe very few other crypto projects, much less DeFi projects, are doing, is that building that bridge from the traditional finance world to the crypto world. And I think that I think that says it pretty well. Chapo, do you have any questions for Cash? Do you think would be great to explain right now?
I don't think so many questions. I think really what everybody's question is right now is, what is Onreach, and just trying to wrap their head around it. It took me 3 months to get my head around a Cash, and I consider myself relatively knowledgeable in this space. So I'm sure you're not going to be able to explain it in 5 minutes here to everybody on.
I'm gonna attempt it. Okay.
Do it. Just what is Onreach? Try to help everybody understand it.
At the essence of it, we're creating smart contracts, okay, to hold liquidity. And in order to interact with those smart contracts, you need the NRCH token, okay? It's as simple as that. When we talk about us being a DVC, okay, we're not saying that we're going to go and invest in projects, okay, and seed them and, incubate them and hold their hand and, turn them into adults in business. That's not the plan. What we're saying is that we're going to give them, as Chapo said, it's a toolbox. We're going to give them the tools so they can do that themselves. Okay? Many projects will not have staking contracts. Many projects will not have the launch pads. And to be fair, the launch pad is a pure byproduct of the fact that we had to go through this experience of delivering a compliant presale, and we built these contracts. And after understanding what the contracts were, it was something that Chapo and Steve and Brad have been saying, Damo have been saying in the back of my head, which is, we need a launch pad, we need a launch pad. So we didn't realize that in the pursuit of just us actually launching, we built a launch pad. So now we have these contracts, which again, once we re-engineered them, you'll be able to use those contracts in order to launch a project. We just need the NRCH token to use them. That's all. So the next contracts that we're going to deliver are staking contracts. Why are we delivering staking contracts? Because we want to hold liquidity in them. Why do we want to hold liquidity in them? Because we've got some telcos who all want to be given some credit so that they can buy minutes and SMS and whatever else that they might want to buy through effectively our centralized financial platform. Okay, that's what Onreach is smart contracts that allow us to effectively fund stuff, that allow us to hold liquidity and use that liquidity to make more money. That's what Onreach is.
And from the user end, the way I've been describing it is that you guys have basically reverse engineered how the traditional financial system does international cross-border trade finance liquidity. And by reverse engineering it for DeFi, you're letting you, me, and grandma throw whatever money we're comfortable investing, like literally into the international trade finance industry, where banks currently make just buckets and buckets of money. But also where there are all these industries trying to do business and it's inefficient because there isn't enough liquidity. You mentioned an anecdote, right? Maybe you can tell it again, of how your business, ComSettle, regularly finds itself with a bunch of money it can't, like assets it can't quickly move just because there's not enough liquidity on hand at the moment to do it. Is that correct?
Well, it's the other side. It's the other way around. Is that the telcos on ComSettle, they're not able to do as much business as they want to because they don't have enough liquidity. And what you find on our platform when you look at the back end is what you see that it's stop-start business, because when they're receiving money from one customer, right, in the account, well, it doesn't really, but they need to have enough future receivable coming in order to meet the demand of the business that's going out, right? So what we find is that many of the telcos, because they don't have enough liquidity and because we haven't given them the ability, well, it wasn't that we didn't give them the ability. What really happened in March last year was that when COVID happened, we had a partnership with a platform in Germany, okay, that was funded by Commerce and Deutsche Bank. And COVID happened and all the banks got very, very busy. Okay, so every bank was basically pushing out Corona money, C-bills, right? That's what they call it. And there was a lot of cheap money around before COVID happened, and we were going to be on the end of some of that cheap money that was going to be basically funding the new type of safe asset, which is called receivable funding. So receivables is invoices that you issue to other companies. Okay. So when COVID happened, the Deutsche Bank, Commerzbank, all the banks, they got busy, and all these other ancillary business units, they no longer had the funding. So we were about to just rock up and start delivering funding to our telco customers, and then we got rug pulled by the banks themselves. We didn't have any funding. Okay, and COVID happened. I'm sitting in the house. Okay, I've lost all my link now, and then I get into the DeFi spiral, and then next thing you know, you've got this light bulb moment, and I'm saying to Kata, maybe we can take liquidity from crypto and use that liquidity to fund all these telcos, and we don't need the banks.
Boom. And that's just one industry, right? Like that's telco, but every industry has this cross-border liquidity need, right?
Energy, logistics, advertising is a very cool one. So, programmatic advertising is like when you get on an app or on a website and an ad pops up, and sometimes you're like, how do they know I was looking at, an apartment, or how do they know I was looking for a chocolate bar? Okay. It's because they're following your cookies, and then they actually bring up an impression based upon some data mining. That's programmatic advertising. Programmatic advertising is full of fraud. Okay, it's a fantastic industry that needs disruption because it's full of fraud. You only get 20 cents on the dollar. And just like telco, it suffers from ridiculous lack of liquidity. So there are so many industries that suffer from the same problems, and a lot of them are involved in supply chains. Okay, like logistics is, again, it's a supply chain business, and many of them are subject to fraud. Many of them are subject to compliance issues, and as being cross-border, going into certain jurisdictions and money flowing through certain jurisdictions. What we built and optimized was just a simple way of freeing the flow of money in business. That's all. Okay, but we did it for telecoms, and we did it for telecoms because I lost a huge amount of money in telecoms because all my money was locked up in, basically telcos who went bust. So I lost money, and I wanted to build something that would stop me from losing money in the future. And Kata and I went through that process, and we built this platform, and we went through that experience. And telcos were paying us to do this. Telcos were paying us to use our platform and keep building for them. Yeah. So last year, it was very simple. Banks did a rug pull on us. Fine. We'll go into crypto. We'll learn how we can take crypto liquidity and use it multiple times over, just like the banks do, okay, and be able to fund telco, but then create other incentives and mechanisms where we can use that liquidity again to make another yield and another yield and another yield.
Yeah. Yes. And the D in DeFi here is that by reverse engineering that process, you're making these yield mechanisms available to the average investor, retail, you, me, Main Street, grandma, everybody.
everybody can get a piece. There is actually enough yield because everybody is providing, whether you're providing fiat, whether you're providing crypto, you're providing some sort of value to the overall ecosystem. And what banks don't tell you is that for that $1, okay, if you've seen Wall Street, the second one, okay, where the main guy, I can't remember his name now, the actor, but when he said that the banks, they took your dollar and they shot it full of steroids, okay, so much so that it became a moral hazard, okay, meaning that they kept using that money so many times over that eventually it just became a debt. Okay? You can do that in DeFi. You can actually do that on the Ethereum network. You can use liquidity 3, 4, maybe 5 times over. And we've seen that with other projects as well.
And you can do that without making it toxic?
I think 2 or 3 times, yes. Ultimately, you want to push the boundaries, right? You want to see how far you can take it. This is leverage. This is literally pure leverage. The next big thing in DeFi is going to be uncollateralized debt, okay? Which is where I give Brad a loan, okay, and there's no security, okay? The reason why people are asking that is that is the point where you get into the toxic situations, where you have defaults, you have bad debt, okay? That's where toxicity comes from. If you find a way of almost securing or in a trustless way guaranteeing the debt, then you shouldn't have any toxicity. You only have toxicity if you have a default or a loss, in my opinion.
And then in the finance space, a lot of it is the toughest part is getting that initial momentum going. And that's a lot of what financial engineering does. And I think that's the exciting part about what Cash is doing is that he's helping us get that boost that's trying to lift us above the noise in the DeFi space because we're adding a legitimate layer in the finance world. And that's, I think, is a real exciting part that we don't spend enough time talking about, but we're about to spend a whole lot more time talking about because it's going to be a major component to the success of the ecosystem in general. And just to quickly touch on it, I am personally offended that you didn't know how to name Gordon Gekko.
That's it.
I cannot believe that a finance guy of your caliber would forget Gordon Gekko, but that's fine. You know what? That's a strike one. It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry, but I'm a Bobby Axelrod guy now. Okay, so it's not about the geckos of the world. It's about the Axelrods.
Oh, the Axe Capital. And you know what? I am not uncertain that Cash is going to help us take this thing to $10 in the very near short term. So amen to 10. Shout out to RFI Jesus out there and RFI Jesus lands. We got to thank him for all that he does. But I think that's a good place to kind of wrap up the main portion of our very first live Discord. But I think
before we move on, Steve, from the Onreach topic, Cash, what do you need from us as a community right now to support you and to support Onreach as we speak right now? Some immediate action items that would help, keep things moving along or help you out. I know you're losing your mind over there with this project launching right now and amidst the sale. So, is there anything that you can give us right now that we could help you with, since it's such a big component of what we're trying to all get done?
Yes, if you've done your KYC and you've been approved, please go and complete your purchase. Okay. We've got an audit coming. Hopefully it's going to be done by Friday. Kader and I are trying to work out how we can reduce gas even further. Okay. But at the very least, if you're KYC approved, and we went through that whole heartache of doing KYC, okay, go onto the Launchpad website, complete your purchase, and hopefully Friday, maybe Saturday, depending on when you complete your purchase, of course, we can go live with the Uniswap pools. That's the only thing I ask for now.
And Cash, if there was anyone that wanted to get in on this that hadn't KYC'd, is there still an ability to KYC? And if so, how long would they be waiting to get whitelisted if they were able to get whitelisted?
Yeah, of course. So we've got around about 24 people waiting to be reviewed for KYC right now. I recommend that everybody does KYC, even if you're in a restricted jurisdiction, which I know, many of you are. And again, I can only apologize. That's not me, it's the lawyers. I love you, lawyers, if you're listening. But what we are trying to do is we're trying to get to a point where at no point do we have any form of attack vector from the SEC, okay? And it can come in any shape or form, and we want to make sure that we've mitigated every scenario. But even simple things like a future airdrop, we would need to airdrop on KYC'd individuals. That is the rule that we have set out in our framework right now. So I recommend, and I'm not promising that we're going to do an airdrop, but maybe we are going to do an airdrop. Okay? But if you're KYC, you'll be able to get on the end of an airdrop. Okay, so that's what I recommend. Even if you're in a restricted jurisdiction, the fact that we're going through this experience, we know who you are, we can provide you with a regulated payment service at some stage. There are discussions about debit cards, an RFI debit card, where the transactions pass through, cashbacks, anything that's in the regulated payment world. If you're KYC, we'll be able to deliver it to you at some point.
Get
That's
KYC,
amazing.
guys. Just take the hint. KYC right now. I put the links in both Twitch and in the Discord chat. Get KYCing, even if you're in a restricted area. Cash doesn't need to ask you again to do it. Just flip and do it.
But you know what's amazing? That we only KYC'd a very small amount of you guys, and we raised quite a lot. We've actually had a huge commitment from a very small number. And a lot of this is word of mouth, which is really, really cool, because we haven't really pushed this, invested in marketing, nothing. This has literally just been organic so far.
That's right. It's just
I hear a bunch of the folks who have already kicked in have actually increased their limit and are hoping for a second bite at this pre-sale.
Exactly. A lot of them. A big shout out to Albert Woolridge if he's listening. Okay, I know you hit the wrong button, brother, but we'll try and get you in there. Wrong button gate.
Oh, Albert. R.I.P., buddy.
The old fat finger. The old fat finger. He gets rich off a fat finger. What a tale as old as time. I don't know. But anything else that we need to cover, guys? I mean, I think that was a great comprehensive discussion about a lot going on. Anybody else have any questions about the main topic, or?
Look, we're looking here in the text chat forum. Also, Brad, do you have the back end on that question form? Anything come in worth addressing?
Yeah, just any of the mods, just go to the mod area of Discord, and in the links section there is the back end of it. To be honest, I don't think we have any questions that I see. Oh wait, actually I haven't refreshed this. Oh, we do. There we go. That's usually what Chapo does. Macro, who's
the newbie now, huh?
Oh man.
Hey, if you see how many screens, like how many windows I have on my monitors, you'll vomit. It's insane.
This week I'm going to donate you an extra couple $100 so you can go set yourself up a command station down there in Australia.
Like, I've got 2 monitors. I'd love like 6, just everywhere. I need it. Yeah, flip me.
And what you don't see,
Brad.
Don't believe him.
Send me the bill, buddy.
For a new graphics card so he can get into
a graphics card would also be good, but that also partly is selfish because I'll play some video games with it as well.
Yeah,
but an important question from Macro. He's asking someone if they would marry my wife. Will you marry my wife? I think he's talking to Cash. He's in love with Cash.
No, Macro. She's yours. She's very lovely. Okay, but the fact that she puts up with you, just like my wife puts up with me, probably a keeper.
Sage wisdom.
Something that I wanted to ask with, because Cash, there's so much going on with Enreach, and it's no wonder why you gave up on elevator pitches. Like there's too much like good things that you could really talk about, and you probably need to just really focus. But some of the things that you do slide into like of conversations is your passion to help developers build. And we've talked about this toolbox and whatnot, but let's say that developers were listening. Like, what do they need to hear? Like, you haven't spoken the word API in this conversation, but yet I've heard you talk about basically that like Enreach is just full of just APIs. Like they're going to be able to just like it's not like we say toolbox for the average retail person, but you're actually you're proper creating a infrastructure where they can plug and play with your tools, right?
Well, what we learned in the last few years is that in order to deliver what we built in telecoms, we built a monolith. Okay, a monolith is just basically a huge piece of code. Okay, almost as acting as one. And for the last year, we've been breaking that apart, breaking it into small pieces, because where we are moving towards is actually API economy. Okay, and many of the crypto protocols out there, like if you look at the Graph, even Uniswap, Link, they're all APIs. Okay.
Yep.
All developers are interacting with different protocols using APIs. So, of course, that when we've started breaking up our own monolith of the code, we've learned how to deliver simple APIs, and this is the plan. Is that what you want? Is you want, in order to scale, you want people who are going to scale themselves, scale on your technology, your infrastructure. Because the way that you reach hyperscale is by almost just like as we do in crypto, betting on the small guy who then becomes the huge guy, right? You get a Facebook or a Facebook-esque type company, uses your APIs, they become huge, you become huge.
Yeah.
You get a company like a Stripe. They start using your APIs. They become huge. You become huge. It's the same with Onreach. It's the same with Optimize. What we've learned is just by delivering something very simple that anybody could use, whether it's a builder, Brad, or whether it is just the IT guy in a small business, as long as they've got the simplicity to be able to call the data or call the function, you've got something that people can use, that people can build around.
It's like we're building like I think Cash and Creator have built like the bear trap. So when somebody finally finds a way to the crypto space and they're looking for a way to deploy their business onto the blockchain, whether it be finance or otherwise, they might have developers, they might have an idea, they find their way into Onreach, and Onreach takes them into the next level. I think
staking contracts, guys. Staking contracts are going to be huge in the coming year, in my opinion. I think those who deliver very good, safe staking contracts are going to get a lot of liquidity. We know that Kyber Network and 1inch are doing some interesting stuff because we have similar auditors as them. So, we're seeing the trends already. You see micro trends in the macro market. So like right now, we're seeing a lot about NFTs, right? So NFTs are the big thing at the minute. But I think a huge sort of theme across the rest of the year and maybe the rest of the bull run will be those projects who deliver almost bulletproof staking contracts and trap the biggest liquidity. They're the ones that are going to really thrive in DeFi coming in the next couple of years, in my opinion.
And Cash, what you're talking about here with staking contracts is going so far beyond what sort of the DeFi 1.0 staking contracts were, right? Which was just like esoteric tokens with no real value and people chasing it quick in, quick out. This is the real shit that's taking those ideas and creating real financial ecosystem infrastructure value off of them, correct?
Yes, of course. Like I was explaining to Chapo about some of the ideas that we came up with the market makers for the staking contracts. Okay, so the simple idea is that we want to collect community liquidity in order for the community to effectively fund the market making ventures on centralized exchanges. So we're doing that now with our own liquidity. We're experimenting with our own liquidity. But ultimately, you want to open it up to the community. Now, if you're locking in your liquidity, okay, let's say you've got 1,000 RFI and you're locking in your liquidity, but RFI hits $10. At some point, you're going to want to sell that, right? But you might not want to unstake because you're still getting your yield in the form of NRCH or ELE or whatever it is. So what we're looking at is mechanisms that allow you to control your liquidity whilst you're staked. And Chapo, kindly referred me to another project which has done very, very well. Okay, who are trying to do something similar, very similar to what we have brainstormed about. But again, what we brainstormed and what we are concepting is something that delivers automation to the function that's making money. And that's the key, is that we're going through experiences which make money. And what we're trying to do is we're just trying to ultimately remove the human elements, automate it all, but make the user experience a little bit easier. So like if you're staked in the, I'm thinking about myself as a user, right? If I'm staked in these contracts and I've got 1,000 RFI, I think I might want to sell 10% of my RFI for $10. I might want to maybe treat myself to a little meal with that 10% on the $10. But ultimately, I still want to be staked with the rest of my 900 RFI. So we want to deliver mechanisms and user experience on your money so that you have a little bit more control, so that I have a little bit more control, so that Demo has a little bit of control, so that we can actually keep doing what we're doing, but at some point still be able to cash out.
I love that. Automated money making. You've heard of automated market making, but this is a whole new thing. It's making your money work for you on steroids and all of that.
We called it. I think the first of all, the Jawad, the market maker, he called it. I think he called it dynamic OTC trading desk, but I quite liked algorithmic OTC trading desk. So I think that's one level of what the staking contracts will be used for. But the first part for us is making sure that those contracts are safe.
Yes.
So where we're at now is that the Onreach Foundation, or the entity, which is going to be representing us token holders of Onreach, that's close to being completed. And once that's completed, I can start the KYC process with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Now, PwC has been doing audits for the likes of Onreach, Ethereum Foundation, Kyber Network. And funnily enough, we came across them because Kader was chatting with one of their lead devs in a Viper group, on, I think it was Reddit or something. I can't remember exactly where. But, we came across PwC and this specialist department inside PwC who are going around auditing ultimately what are institutional grade staking contracts.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very important part right there, is that this is all above board legitimate. And that's something, again, I can't harp on that enough, and I might be beating a dead horse, but again, it's not, because this is all very real. This is all above board, it's legitimate, it's audited, Cash has taken countless time and hours, much to the detriment of his family and personal life, that he's making sure that this is all done. All of the jurisdictions are properly handled. All of the various regulatory environments are taken care of, so that there are no issues, there are no regulatory problems when we're trying to do this. So I think that
term. I love that term, institutional grade.
Absolutely,
that's fantastic.
Absolutely, and again, if you can't tell, Cash has thought this through and through to the core of everything that it is and it could be, and that's why he's put so much time and passion and effort into building it. The potential is staggering, and he is delivering, continuing to deliver, and will continue to deliver. And again, we should thank our lucky stars he's in this ecosystem with us, because
you better believe it.
He's doing some great work that we couldn't find Cash off the street. I don't even know where I could find a guy like that. Maybe he works different night shifts on the street, but I think he's over that life now. So, thanks, Cash. We're glad you're out of that life, Cash. But I think,
there's a couple
if
more
you had to say
questions
if you had to say one last point, what do we have? What do we have to wrap up the Onreach session here?
Finish your KYC and finish your purchase.
All right, get in there, everyone. Get in there with Onreach. The time is now. The bull market is here. There's so much money to be made, and this guy is giving you a great opportunity to invest to invest in the bridge that's we all know is coming from traditional finance to the crypto finance world and to DeFi. And I'm really excited to be a part of it. Speaking
of that bridge, speaking of user experience, speaking of OTC, Cash, one last little question. Are we going to be able to find a way to simplify the on-ramp for retail? Are we going to make it stupid simple for them to go and buy into our ecosystem the same way they do e-commerce on any other website?
Yes.
Yeah, don't give away our secrets, Damo. These are the things that...
That's not a secret. To be fully compliant, you've got to jump through incredible hoops to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I already gave Brad the transactional flow.
Going to be able to do it.
He's shown me.
Well,
and if anything,
I've already shown.
We're gonna do we'll do an infographic. We'll have all that kind of stuff. We'll have all that additional resources, and I think we're gonna make sure we keep engaging with Cash. We're gonna have content coming out as Onreach continues to progress and launch, and there's just a lot of exciting stuff. I don't want to go on too long. I don't know if we have any other points that we want to make it because we have a last
one more
segment
point.
here.
Just because of course we're just talking there's a lot of just what do we call it? Just the everyman here that just wants to understand on a very simple level how is Enreach going to help RFI, especially and the ecosystem. And one of most people here are holding RFI, so they just want to understand very simply. And I'll just say, just as Cash said, he sort of showed me the flow. And I'll just say that there is going to be a lot of volume, lot of volume going through RFI, and that's what we need. Price, all of that, let's get to 10, but we're going to have a lot of volume going through RFI because that is actually what gets the distribution out all into your wallets. And there is some serious plans to just get a lot of volume, and we can touch on any industry. And I'm so excited. We can I'm excited personally for the ecom. Well, obviously for DeFi in general, as it grows, we can give people the ability to flow from fiat to crypto, but also ecom's massive and it's digital, and there should be digital money. And if RFI is in the middle of it, just taking a little cut of volume, flip me. We're gonna have it's gonna be incredible. So I just want to just give you guys that just at a very simple level, your RFI is going to be in between a lot of transactions.
Yes, and then it's really exciting. And again, those money flows are gonna kind of define the ecosystem because we know the flows are coming. So if we can position ourselves to be there, we'll have a staggering amount of upside. A good time to flow is into our next segment that after we kind of wrapping up the traditional part of our weekly reflection, where we kind of cover a meaty part of the real information and the real updates. We're going to kind of have a more informal part about this, and I think this is a great time for Brad. I think, Brad, you want to take over, kind of introduce what our next little segment is?
Yeah, well, look, let's just, thanks, Cash, thanks, Kader. We haven't really flung many questions towards him. I'm not even sure if he's still here, but...
he doesn't like to talk. He lets me do all the talking.
You're good at it, though. No worries.
Yeah, so...
Penn and teller of the development game. One does all the talking and one doesn't at all.
Cash, if you want to hang out, man, as we go to the open format, we'd love to have you, but I know you're a busy man, so no worries if you got a jet after this.
Thank you to Cash for coming and joining us for our initial live weekly reflection brought to you by the Reflect Foundation. But all right now, yeah.
So now, and this is something new, guys, so just bear with us. We're going to see how this works, but basically we want to, this is now the informal section. So if you're just here for pure Enreach, then you can say goodbye. Thank you to all of our Twitch people. We hit around 60 at our cup viewers. We've still got around 40, so thanks for being here. We're eventually going to open up to chat just just loosey goosey. We're gonna just let anyone talk, and we're gonna have a big open conversation. So if you right. and we want to hear your voices. Like something that the reason why we're here is because we wanted to see and hear each other. We're humans, and there's something really nice about it. Nikki McFly on Twitch was just saying, I love this. I love that we get to hear everyone. It's quite impressive.
Yeah. So I want to do one last thing because I feel like I'm not a terrible host. We've neglected one person. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, you're great. I'm saying I just said you're great.
Oh, no, okay. Oh, but we neglected one critical person here that we didn't give enough thanks to, and maybe we don't do enough job of it. I just want to thank El Crypto Chapo one more time for all you do here. Thank you, El Crypto Chapo. Do you have one more point to wrap up everything here? You actually got a break today. You didn't have to do as much heavy lifting.
It has been really nice. I love this format personally. I feel like it's a lot less work on my end, but you guys don't need to thank me. You guys are all awesome. I hope we can continue to work together and keep making strides towards what we're trying to build out. So thank you guys.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, in this section, the first thing that we're going to do before we open up the chat and completely unmute is that we are still doing our community highlight, and that's where Damo is going to share who we want to highlight this week for just their amazing volunteer effort.
Oh, hey guys. So thanks for joining us for the weekly reflection. We're kind of playing around with calling this whole second section more like the weekly chill. We've reflected on what's happened this week, and now we're going to hang out together and talk community, talk what's been going on, who's really been stepping up, and really dig into more of a discussion format where we can flesh things out for each other and really congregate in a voice format, because we don't really get to do that very often. I want to talk a little bit about project management, about how hard it is to build a movement, to build a community that's like volunteer community led, and it's a serious project. It takes a ton of work. Not only do people have to step up individually to own certain things, but you also need an infrastructure of hardworking people who know how to keep it all organized, so that we're not just all off in all sorts of different directions, but really rocking out in harmony, in sync. Staying together and making sure that we're aimed at the same stars, or at least in the same direction of the sky. And to that end, today I really want to throw so much love to our boy Mouse. This
Mouse
guy has been stepping up so hard in the last couple of weeks.
Amazing work, Mouse.
Just incredible, man. Just incredible. Like I said, it takes so much work keeping things organized. Knowing who's doing what they need for success, where they're at in the process, and how it all fits in together. I've been doing movement building and activism for years. It's going on 15 years now. And I've never been able to do anything effectively without a mouse or three in the house. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone as efficient and as just gung-ho, and I throw out an action item and he's on it. And it's so helpful. And it makes things 10 times smoother. It increases our capacity exponentially when someone like Mouse is here and helping. Mouse, dude, I can't tell you how grateful I am for the work you're putting in.
Shout out to Mouse. Shout out Mouse. Thank you, Mouse. We appreciate you, man.
I'm just praying that when you end up getting the gig that you're looking for here soon, that you have Wi-Fi, because losing you is going to hurt. And thankfully, speaking of project management, we also have our homeboy Zen here, who's kicking ass and onboarding and getting prepared to take on some more workload too. And I'm so stoked and thrilled to have him as well. And you guys as a team are really an exciting phenomenon, something we've desperately needed for so long. I can't thank you guys enough.
No, absolutely.
Thank you, Damo, for everything you do, man. You're like the glue that holds this whole community together. So, man, you put in as many hours as anybody, and I feel like you're probably the only person that sees every single message and every single platform that Reflect has. So.
No, I don't know how he does it. I found out recently that Damo, until recently, was doing all of that work from a cell phone, not even a computer. Is that true, Damo? Is that true?
A 6-year-old cell phone at that.
Geez, that's just kind of staggering. I know, Damo, it's kind of crazy.
How's that bigger screen treating your eyeballs, Damo?
Oh, I'm so much better now. In the last few months, thanks to being in RFI on day one and being here all this time and putting my heart and soul in, I've been able to get a new computer, new phone. I've got an Apple Watch and the ear pods. I fell down the rabbit hole hard, and now I just feel like I've got my command center and I'm ready to roll. Let's do this, guys.
Don't worry, the foundation will pay for your LASIK surgery also at some point here coming up.
I know. Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I know. It's like Damo's your one-stop shop for community building, for engagement, for tapestry recommendations. That kind of guy he's invaluable to the community. We want to thank you for all your help, my friend.
We're getting him a date with Dua Lipa, right, Steve?
What's that?
We're getting him a date with Dua Lipa, right?
Oh, of course, yeah, of course. At the very least. No, I think that might be too mainstream for him. He's more of a. We got to find him a nice, chill hippie chick from San Francisco. Don't worry, we'll take care of that for you, man. We'll get you taken care of.
Find me a nice acro yoga burner. That's probably my speed.
Hey, man, you're a line behind me. All right, so hey, that's all right. That's all right.
Oh, man.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously, when I say I've been doing movement building for 15 years, I'm serious. I was working on ending the war of drugs in college, and then I moved on to environmental work, and then I launched a local currency in Baltimore with friends. That was pretty successful. And I know what it smells like. I know what it feels like when you have a real movement on your hand. You can't buy it. It just doesn't happen. You don't buy movements. And when crypto started, I was so excited by the possibility of merging the movement characteristics, the thing I cared about, the changes that I felt we needed to make in the world, with business, with money, decentralizing power and putting it in the hands of real people so that we can decide together, truly, what's going to happen. What are we doing here? And I've been in crypto full time since 2017, since that bull run, and I have not been a part of anything like RFI. This is the first time I've seen it like the drug policy reform movement when cannabis was finally getting momentum to be legalized in the States. That was magic. This is magic. And I'm so stoked to be with you guys. And I'm stoked to finally be able to have these kinds of conversations with 75 people listening in that haven't necessarily been able to have these conversations with us. Because we love you. We want you here with us. We want to give you ways to plug in and play with us. And it can be large or small. Many hands truly does make light work. So even if you're just sharing on socials or telling a friend about us or clicking like clapping our Medium articles, it's huge. And if you can translate our content into other languages, or people that might be able to offer services we need to get our hands on, that's huge. And just being here with us, keeping the vibe high. Answering questions for newcomers that drop into the chat so that it's not always the same 5 or 10 of us answering everybody's question. All that is just so valuable. That's how we build a movement together.
That's crazy valuable.
Dedicated on making a ton of money. So hard to argue with that.
I just want to say big shout out to all you guys who've been on the Unreach group when I haven't been there. I know Mato, Mouse, there's been a few of you on there, Damo, you as well. You've been on there, you've been representing. Love you guys for that. Love you.
We got your back, man. You're doing incredible work, and we're so thrilled to have you with us. We're with you all the way, dude. So yeah, I would love to open the floor. At this point, questions might have come up during the weekly reflection. Some of you guys might have burning questions you've been holding on to for a while now. Feel free to pop in on the voice chat, pop in on the Clubhouse text chat, or over there on Twitch. We see you guys. We're so stoked you're with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Let's have a conversation.
Okay, so for anyone that now we're opening up the floor, I have given the permission for you guys to unmute, but either I manually, what you need to do is leave the chat, leave the disconnect from the voice, and then come back in, and you should have the ability to be unmuted. And if you need any help, I'll just manually unmute you. So go ahead and do that if you want to actually get your voice in here. Helios, I want to hear your voice, mate. It's always nice to hear another Aussie in here.
Truly, Helios, man, get in here, buddy.
So leave and then come back in, and you should be able to speak up.
What up?
Who's this?
This is Mouse.
Yes, Mouse. Literally,
Hey, Mouse.
how funny is this? So literally yesterday, I'm telling Mouse, I'm going to give you the ability to mute and unmute people from an admin like position. I don't want the mods just popping in the middle of our production and not realize that they have their mic on. And he's like, "Oh, I get you, man. I totally." And then who pops in with their mic on in the middle of our production? Mouse.
Hot mic, motherfucker. Oh, I need to unmute you now. I suppose that's safe.
Who's this?
Once again, this is Mouse. I had him manually muted from his unexpected drop in.
I think
hey, buddy, you're live mic if you want to be.
Himself, though. He's got the power to do anything.
I wasn't going to mess with it again. I was confused as to the flow stream. I had the feedback going from the Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a meltdown moment. I didn't know what button to push where.
All good, man. All good. Working out the kinks. First week, right? No worries.
And also, just anyone that's on Twitch that hasn't hit that follow button, please hit it. It'll be good, where there's actually a category on Twitch called crypto. And look, there would not be many people live streaming crypto, so this is definitely a chance for us in our community to be able to just even touch a new audience passively through just doing our weekly reflection like we normally do. So yeah, if you can hit that follow button, I think we've got, how many have we got now? We've got 20 followers. That's sick. That's so good. So yeah, if you could just hit it, that'd be just super sweet. Anyone that even doesn't like Twitch, doesn't want to use Twitch, but if you could just literally go over to Twitch, sign up quickly, send us a like, that would be incredible.
Yeah, show us some numbers. It's helpful.
Yeah, it's really helpful because like Twitch is actually something that I like about Twitch more than YouTube, because YouTube, for one, I can't live stream for like 24 hours from like starting up the like after verifying the account, which is like, just come on, YouTube. So then I was like, all right, I'm forced to go over to Twitch. And to be honest, I like, you guys found Twitch pretty well. I'm sure, like, obviously YouTube is more popular, and to be honest, if I do get, if Chapo helps me pump up this PC, I could actually send out this this stream to both Twitch and YouTube, which would be,
at the same time live.
At the same time live, that'd be pretty
brilliant.
gnarly.
Yeah.
So we could definitely try that as well. But anyway, just any like just love, just clicking on the follow button is just awesome. Yeah. Anyway, don't let the live stream freak any of you guys out from talking. Like, we're all family here. So if anyone wants to come in, ask Cash questions because he's here, yeah, go for it. Or let's just talk about whatever. Yeah. Speaking of, I'm going to just quickly duck to the toilet because we've been here for 2 hours. So I'll be back.
Yeah, I live in California. I am going to roll myself a little something because we're free to do so here.
Well, I'm smoking a cigar. You enjoy whatever you're putting in there. If I may, for a second, say hello to everybody and let them know that I am actively trying to organize the extended team, as we have so many volunteers putting in little pieces of effort and putting their heart into the things that they do. I'm trying to collaborate and bring them all as one voice into the organization, and this is taking a good bit of legwork. But if I do message you randomly, you can confirm it's me. I'm not a scam. I'm just trying to reach out because maybe I've noticed you doing something awesome, helping out, and I want to bring you into a room where we can bring our voices together and make something happen. Am I the only one with a mic on? I'm not very good at monologuing.
No, I'm just sitting here waiting. So
no worries, man. That's great. Yeah, I really appreciate you taking that on. I've had a few messages in the backdrop like, who's this Mouse guy? He's acting like he's part of the team, and I'm like, yo, listen to that man. He's with us and he's great. So
you should go a step farther and ask them to send you some ETH or something. Be like, hey, I want to do this, and please, here's my ETH address. Just send me a little something.
I do all the time.
That is not okay.
Just make them super paranoid. Yeah, absolutely. Mouse is 100% part of this
infrastructure and the team. So if he reaches out to you, that's 100% legit. Just make sure it's the real mouse.
Not like Dev Team Orpheus.
Oh, God.
Can I change my name to Mouse?
Please don't.
Thanks for saying what an amazing AMA it is. Ergis?
Ergis is on our Italian team.
Awesome.
Ergis is like the most organized Italian person ever. He literally got the Unreach Italian group going. Lives in Rome, I believe. Probably gone to some of the same restaurants that I've been to. Rome is like my favorite city. Okay, so much so I'm considering moving there.
Wow.
On my own.
I promised my wife that once.
Is she on this chat? I didn't mean it.
I promised my wife that once this all fake money stuff starts working out for us, like proper good, I'll be taking her to Rome. So that's been always a dream when we've been, ever since we've been married, is to go to Rome. And so yeah, I'll meet you there.
Amazing
Cash.
City, Brad. Amazing city. Honestly, food is amazing. Culture is amazing. What you see in the city, Ergis is probably sitting there nodding his head, but what you see in the city in terms of monuments and stuff like that, beautiful city.
Can't wait.
So what's on everybody's mind? There's so much going on. It's hard to keep up. And I mean, RFI is the first thing I do when I wake up and the last thing I do before I go to bed. And it's still hard to keep up with everything.
Well, so something look, I'll just throw out a question out there. So something that Cash sort of initiated, because it's hard to know, Cash. Like I couldn't imagine how much you've really just got going on, especially now that you're actually in proper pre-sale, trying to get people to commit to what they said they would put in, sort of thing, and let alone all the developing and just all that managing. But you did go into one of our chats and just went, look, let's get the let's start chatting Launchpad, and that actually put a little fire in me. It was something I've been wanting to bite into a project of some sort, and I was just like, flip, yeah. I literally worked for Predicts, the Launchpad, before I worked for them for 2 days, and then Chapo comes over to me, officially work for 2 days, work with them for a few weeks while they launched, and then as soon as they launched, Chapo comes in and goes, dude, RFI, man, I need you. And I was like, oh, okay, righto. So anyway, I do have some experience with the Launchpad side of things, but basically I want to just throw out to the community, text, whatever, but what do we need to make the best Launchpad in DeFi? Where we want to create unique offerings that just aren't that especially things that we can do through Enreach that just can't be done anywhere else. Enreach is doing some stuff that just simply doesn't seem to be possible yet in DeFi. So let's utilize that to give new launches that benefit and attract them and borderline I would say entice them. I was going to say enforce them to pair with RFI, but more enticing is a bit better. Entice them that when we offer them, we could, well, for one, Cash, you've said you have a KYC platform now, that functions really well. We're going to be able to give and sorry, what's the word that you've been using, that everything is above board? What's the word that you've been using? That's legal. Compliant. So are we going to be able to offer DeFi projects, or I guess just crypto projects, really, an ability to launch in a compliant way?
Yes. So look, we never intended to build what is called a launchpad, right? Some of us who have been here a while know that we have been through some experiences with some projects who promised to deliver us a launchpad and massively failed. If they're listening, you failed. Okay. But we've always wanted a launchpad for a while, right? The original idea was, let's get other projects to pair with RFI, because that's what RFI is. It's a token to buy stuff with, right?
Right.
So we never intended to build this. When we, and I really hope none of the lawyers are listening, when we started out, we were advised, and not with the best advice, and it wasn't from the existing lawyers. We were advised that if we went into the Cayman Islands and built a foundation, we wouldn't have to KYC anybody. Okay. So at the time, Kater and I were like, oh, well, that's easy. We don't need to go through the compliance process. So we don't need to deal with a lot of the stuff that takes a lot of our time and optimize on a daily basis. So let's go and do Cayman Islands. Let's go to Sunny Islands and create a company there so that it represents all these non-KYC people. But then when we started discussing with US banks that we're building this stable coin, our lawyers were like, you need to KYC every single person that buys your token at the pre-sale. You need to make sure that you do this. And it was a long list of stuff, guys. Literally, we got a it wrote us a pure legal analysis of every single risk factor with the existing model that we had to put in place, and we literally had to scrap everything. If you remember, the Onreach website was completely different to what we pivoted to, and it wasn't really a pivot, it was just like a change of narrative. And even the current website now has to be changed, because the narrative still makes it sound like a bit of like a security. So everything that we built was to effectively escape the risks associated with being tarred as a security or not decentralized enough, or effectively a simple thing, you wouldn't like touching the funds. Okay, if we manually touched the Ethereum or the RFI to create a liquidity pool, we were potentially at risk. You wouldn't think that, right? Because you've got to touch the funds that you raise in order to create a Uniswap pool. So we, based on all the restrictions we were given, it was like, boxing with blindfold, hopping on one leg and one arm behind your back. That's literally what we had to do. Within the restrictions, we had to build the way that we could not only board you guys as whitelist entrants, but get to the point of automatically creating the Uniswap pools. This was just a byproduct. It literally was a byproduct. And when we had built it, and Kater went through we went through all the transactional flows, and we pitched it to the lawyers, and then eventually, you stand back and you realize, okay, this thing that people have been talking about, a launchpad, we've actually just built it. So the first thing I did was I messaged Chapo. I said, chaps, that thing that you wanted, we've just built it. So now you've got it. So you tell me how you want it, okay, for your RFI-centric launchpad, and we will re-engineer it in order to do that. And that's really how it came around, S2, that we had to build it for ourselves. And now we've got this asset that we've built. So we obviously, just as we do, we monetize it as we do, and we monetize it for the benefit of our overall community. The simple thing will be with the launchpad is that there will be RFI, it will be RFI centric. There will be RFI volume that will be directed from that launchpad, but also in order to use the launchpad. And at the point, and the key point of a launchpad is that at some point a Uniswap pool is created. And if you look at projects like Unicrypt, they all put their prices up recently. Yeah, so there's been other projects who have complained that Unicrypt is expensive, and they as a result, other projects like TrustSwap, they've all of a sudden just blown up because they provide a similar type solution. So we thought, well, how can we give the NRCH token a little bit of utility in that scenario? Very simple. Use the NRCH token to lock the LP. They're not actually paying for the locking, they're just having to buy a certain amount of NLCH that when they unlock it, and this is not 100% confirmed yet, but when they unlock the LP, they get their NLCH back, almost like a deposit to hold it somewhere. So this is how the whole Launchpad thing came. It's not really the main focus of what we're doing, but we created something that's an asset that belongs to us. So we want to be able to use that and make it open and give it a benefit. And now what we have is what's very, very exciting is that all the best, hopefully, all the best projects that will launch through this Launchpad, they will be the ones who will, they're the ones that we could maybe take to a centralized exchange.
I'm gonna mute
Who's that?
A guy called Gromit. Gromit, I don't know if you realize, but you're unmuted and we can hear you singing. So yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, something that interested me, because I like when on your front page and when you rebranded, because of course your narrative is tricky, and also I didn't even realize, like you said, you need to be compliant, and even the language that you use, even though technically you're not a security or something like that, even the language could imply certain things. I'm not sure, I don't really want to get into it, but I'm like, that's quite interesting. But at the moment your branding is decentralized venture fund or venture capital, and that to me naturally speaks a incubator type of scenario, and you said that's not what it is, and I was like, oh, that just broke my thinking of how that would work. But I get that, and that's awesome, and that actually is cool, because something that Chapo and I are now like little kids at a candy store dreaming about what this and not just dreaming, getting to work on what this Launchpad can and will be, and one of the and I've lost my train of thought. Let me just see what it was that you're saying. Oh yes, the incubator side of things is that Chapo and I were actually like talking about this Launchpad actually being, well, and we're not totally sure of how this is going to be set up, if it's like its own like entity, its own business, how decentralized it is versus it being an actual business. And but we were thinking that there would actually be a portion of incubation that's not on Enreach to do, it's actually on a third party that is using the tools that Enreach has, which would be our Launchpad. And is that possible, Cash? Like is that like how you can see this playing out?
It can play out in any way, Brad. I mean, the simple solution we wanted to deliver was how we got from KYCing the participants up to the point of creating the Uniswap pools. Now, taking it one step further is that you'd want to lock that Uniswap pool for other projects. Okay. We didn't think beyond that, to be honest. What I find exciting by all this is that there are going to be some really cool projects that we're going to get a chance to work with. There are going to be some really amazing developers that we're going to get a chance to work with. And some of them might not have the experience that we have. Some of them will be a lot more talented than we are. But at the very least, we'll get a chance to work with them. It's very much like the situation we have together is that we got a chance to work with each other. And we're here today, and opening up that pool and having other projects who could potentially add value to Onreach, it could add value to telecoms, it could add value to RFI, it could add value to Chainlink. We don't know, but we'll get to go through that experience, right? And that's to me, that's the cool part, is that this community is going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There are going to be more Helioses, there are going to be more Erguses, there are going to be more Mouses, okay? There are going to be more demos. There's only one demo, but they're going to be, you get the point. They're going to be more people that we are going to meet, that we are going to work with, that we are going to understand their unique way of seeing the world. and we're going to get a chance to experience new stuff. And the best part for me is that COVID combined with this movement in DeFi meant that I stopped watching TV, I stopped playing video games, okay, and I've started reading. I started actually going back to what I was studying at university, okay. I was studying to be an actuary at university. I actually flunked the exams, okay. I partied way too hard post-university as well as pre-university, and I didn't really do very well in my exams, but I was very good at business. And the last 6 months, 6 to 9 months, I spent a hell of a lot of time reading. And little things like Kata. Kata was a Python developer, okay, Python engineer, sorry. And he's contributed to Python repositories. He's contributed to many other things. But in the last 6 months, he's had to learn Solidity and Viper. And we're going through that experience. We're learning just as much as anybody else. But every day that goes past, we're talking with that little bit more confidence in our voice, where we know a little bit more. We want to learn more. There are going to be other people. One of the big shout out to, I don't know if many of you guys follow, Molly Wintermute of Hedgex Protocol, okay? Professor Ponzo of Rootkit. You're talking about really, really fucking smart people, okay, who have looked at something in a completely different way. And if you look at Molly, she wasn't an engineer or developer. She actually taught herself, whether it's a she or not, I don't know. But they had to teach themselves how to code. And they went and delivered something, and they got it wrong 2 or 3 times. There's a book out on Twitter. Look it up. It's actually a really interesting read. They got it wrong twice. People lost money. But they kept faith because they were doing something that nobody else was. And I want to find that person that's doing something that none of us are doing. And I think the only way is by creating exposure, getting exposed to a lot of stuff. And it was just fortuitous that we built these contracts. And now we can give those contracts to you guys to go and then launch pad other projects. And we might find the next Molly Wintermute or the next Professor Ponzo. And we might build something really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Cash,
yeah.
that's exciting. That's inspiring. To me, that's the movement. And I see this huge opportunity because we're already talking about being an on-ramp. We're actually decentralizing finance, and that means going to where the entire world and the global financial system is, not just playing in a little niche. And like that means by definition, there's going to be a world literally of talent getting into crypto. And the thing that talent, like you said, isn't going to have is what we do have: experience and connections and the infrastructure that you and many of us have worked so hard to build, and to understand what crypto really is, to be there, to welcome and support this world of talent as it finds its way into crypto. I hadn't heard you explain it to that this way before, but you created the infrastructure to on-road talent. Whoa.
That's one thing. Like one of the things I always say to Laura Hanna, okay, and I don't know if she's listening, but if she is, huge love out to Laura. Laura joined our company. It's almost 2 years ago now, okay, and we learned more in the last 2 years than we did in the previous 8 years building our company. We learned more in the last 6 months getting into DeFi than we did in the last 10 years. And, maybe I'd become dumb or insensitive by watching too much TV and never really reading enough. But in the last 6 months, I feel like I got smarter, and now I'm addicted, so much so my wife complains that I am too much time on my device, because if I'm not talking to somebody, if I'm not dealing with something, I'm reading about the next thing. And that cash did not exist pre-COVID.
Yep, I understand. I was able to go back down the rabbit hole fully, also in part because COVID kind of knocked me on my ass. It made everything stop long enough for me to hear the voice in my head and start going towards something that made more sense.
Reset, right? It was almost a reset.
Yeah. For those of us who used it that way, for sure, and I think a lot of us did.
Helios, yeah, you can open up if you want. Ask Cash a question.
Please, brother.
You just need to unmute yourself. You should have the power.
Do you have the power?
Oh, you need to. No. Okay, anyone that wants to talk, like, at any point, you just want to interrupt Cash. Like, this is open. Leave and then come back. Come back in, and you'll be able to get the ability to talk.
Helios and we had a 2.5 hour call on. For me, it was Saturday morning. And I woke up and on the weekend, because I'm not living at my house at the minute, I'm living with my mother-in-law, and because our house is fucked up, it's under construction. So, but my office is actually at the house that's under construction. So I came to the office and I had the builders here in the background. Helios and I chatted for 2.5 hours in the midst of, at times, him having to listen to me telling the builders to do something just to keep my wife happy. I must have sounded like so under the thumb. I could hear him laughing down the phone in the background. But the one question he did ask me was, how much is enough? Right, Helios?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, brother Helios, what's up, man? It's so good to hear.
How you doing, boys?
Yeah.
What's up?
I've got a question for Cash that's is a part of the bond market. Is your main focus with the bonds the telcos?
No. Okay. It's just general credit.
Yep.
So look, credit needs liquidity, okay? And like in the US, there's this. I've got this PDF that I keep on my laptop. In the US, I think it was in 2019, at any given point, any given day across the whole of the year, there was $3.1 trillion worth of debt, okay, credit, given by US firms to other US firms. That's just the US. Okay, 3.1 trillion. Okay, now I'm in a business where we free the flow of money for telcos. Okay, they are Cater's words. Free the flow of money, and he says it in French. So there's a certain word. Cater, are you here? It's there. He is there. What is the word you use? Is it go off and say it.
I don't know if it's exists in English, but in French we say fluid. Basically fluidify.
I think we have one other French person here, being Matteau. Pretty sure he's here. He here? He was here.
Not sure. Yeah.
But this is what we do for telecoms. We free the flow of their money, and we allow the money to flow through supply chains in real time, on fiat. And in order to free the flow of money, someone's still got to pay for it at some point. The money has to go through their bank accounts. Otherwise, it's not revenue booked. Okay? If you raise an invoice to someone and they don't pay you, that's not revenue booked. That's just a bad debt. Okay? If the money goes through your bank account against an invoice that you issue, that's a revenue booked. That was money that hit your bank account, but it might have gone back out to your vendor, but ultimately it was still revenue booked. Now, what we do for telcos is we allow them to crystallize their profits on a deal in a market where margins are very, very tight. You're talking about telcos will do deals for 0.2% margin. They will do $100 million in revenue and take that exposure for 0.2% in margin. 0.2% is fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If someone defaults on that, that's literally almost 100% loss. 0.2%. So the intention is to create a liquidity pool big enough so that we can go and give the credit to the right at the top of the supply chain, but then advance the cash so that it moves through the supply chain to the end vendor, okay, in literally real time.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? Because at any given day in the US, there was $3.1 trillion in credit, okay? But that was probably going through 10 companies. So if you divide that by 10, that's probably the actual single transaction that goes through those 10 companies. So $0.31 trillion, it was the total amount of credit. So as long as you're giving it at the top and flowing it straight through, you've got less exposure. If you've got less exposure, you can do more. Very simple. All we need is a liquidity pool big enough that can give credit. We start with telecoms because this is Gera and I's low-lying fruit. We've been in this market a long time. We know all the movers and shakers. Our own business partner is a mover and shaker. He's got like 40 companies under Heritage Ventures. Many of them are telcos. A lot of them use, actually all the telcos use our technology. You know, it's low-lying fruit. You've got tier one telcos, Orange, Telecom Italias of the world. The simple thing to do business with them is to say, we'll give you the credit, you pay on these terms, and we'll find you the cheapest vendors. And we will literally do everything for you to make your life easier, like a digital sales channel.
I mean, I don't.
Business. It's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what other people hear when they hear that, but what I hear when I hear that is you found the biggest lever to move the world. Like literally liquidity for international commerce. That is a powerfully revolutionary economic innovation, brother. Seriously.
We found an industry that just lacked liquidity through the supply chains, and the reason we found it was because we were one of those members of the supply chain that didn't get paid, and as a result, I lost everything.
Right. You're just solving a business problem. It just so happens that the latest technology available allows us to solve that problem in such a profound way that it changes the way business is done and the way money flows entirely.
One of the things that we're trying to rebrand our company is that we are not just telecom focused. Our technology can be used in so many other industries, and we're trying to find the best way to articulate that now, because when you go and look at our websites, you look at Optimize, you look at Comceptal, you think, yeah, these guys are in telecoms. Well, I mean, what we have built is something that's adaptable all over the world and in many different ways. And this is where the stablecoins have such an important role in what is going to be the new, ultimately the API economy, okay, which is all these tech companies who are using each other's APIs in order to build automations so that if we are trapped at home under COVID, or if we want to automate even the stupidest and littlest of things to remove the human element, it's going to be done via APIs, just like all other cryptos. And so we've been delivering those APIs, but how do you articulate it's very hard to articulate the stuff that Kader and I talk about, freeing the flow of money. There's so many different industries. There's so many different dynamics. Every industry has got different billing requirements, different regulatory requirements.
And
it's a
you're
cost of
doing work to disintermediate it, like to untangle that whole fucking mess and simplify it and automate it and give everyone access to it. The way I've been describing what you guys have been doing is that there's a whole bunch of stuff that's been popping up that bills itself as DeFi, and you're the first thing I've seen, like really, that's actually decentralizing finance. And I think you can describe yourself succinctly just by saying decentralized finance is what you do, but emphasizing the finance. You're actually doing that. And then
Well,
you get to
to
talk
be-
about every single piece of financial infrastructure that you're actually decentralizing, that you're actually
To
innovating
be fair, Demo, the first layer of DeFi were the older projects. Like if you look at Chainlink to an extent, right, was the almost the first cog in DeFi because it was the flow of information, collateralizing the information.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
And the Ethereum, what you can do on Ethereum by taking any asset, okay, that little cog gives you the world that we're in now. Okay, I know we complain about gas fees and stuff like that. Okay,
No, I get it. I totally get it, man.
The simple thing of like I can maybe put my house on Ethereum and get 100 people to crowdfund me a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or you could actually put a painting. Obviously, we've got this NFT craze at the minute. You could put a painting and tokenize it.
So so I think we're just coming at it from two different like marketing perspectives, basically, or even like professional
It's just simple.
perspectives.
Honestly, I look at little problems, right? And I'm gonna end on this tip. And sorry, Damo, but I've got my wife messaging me in the background, and I know you guys are being interrupted by the wife before. But I asked Kader for one simple thing. I said to him, we've got a company, right, where it's valued. We've got a piece of paper and it tells us it's valued X, but it's illiquid. Yeah, it's not in a liquid pocket. Okay, and I've got no way of using my portion of that value to go and make moves, whether they're degen moves or not, to make moves. Okay, and I'm always driven by something I read about SBF. Okay, he made a move where he took his FTX token. Okay, he deposited it on Cream. Or from Cream, he collateralized it and he got a load of Link and something else. And then he went and shorted the fucking market. Okay. He made like something $30-40 million. And he literally gave most of it to charity. I'm not being funny, but that was a fucking Chad move, right? One of the reasons that I preach what I preach to my friends and my community, okay, is so that we can do those type of things, that we can have that type of freedom. Okay, I got one of my best friends. I got him into crypto, okay, because he wanted to buy £100,000 worth of gold, dig a hole in a garden, okay, and bury that gold because it was the safest place he thought to put his 100 grand. When I explained to him what we can do in DeFi, okay, he is now building a wallet. He's now building a wallet so that his mum, okay, can get into DeFi and put her pension. When they retire, they get a tax-free lump sum, so they can put that pension into something that gives them more than what you get with banks. Which at the minute, what you get with banks is fuck all. Okay?
Yeah. Right.
She just wants 6-7% a year, but in DeFi, she can maybe get 30-40%.
That's what I'm saying, right? And that's, I guess, all I meant when I said that you guys are decentralizing finances from the end user perspective. Retail, the ones that barely know what crypto is, if they do at all, sure as shit don't know what DeFi is. For them, what you're offering, or at least the infrastructure you're creating and what it makes possible, for them decentralizes finance. It gives them open banking, crypto debit cards, the equivalent of a crypto savings account that can make you 40% instead of 0.1. Real decentralized finance that changes how money works and makes it work for real people. That, as someone who's been working towards major systemic change his entire adult life, that's one of the most revolutionary things I've ever heard in my life.
And it was all started by, simple things, simple problems.
That's right.
Satoshi wanted to move some Bitcoin so that he could buy some weed from someone because it wasn't pizzas. I mean, fucking come on. Okay. And then, Vitalik, I don't know why he built Ethereum. Chainlink, I can understand why. But like other things like Comp, Aave, they were the ones that showed us like simple things that you could do. Even Banco and Uniswap, automated market maker. Automated market maker doesn't work, in my opinion. Okay, market maker, it's an art form. Market making. Okay, it's not a science. It's an art form. And the market makers I talk to, okay, they're very passionate about what they do, and you can make a lot of money. Uniswap doesn't really make you a lot of money if you're a market maker. If you go and do an LP, you actually lose money most of the time. You got to make sure that you yield enough so that you offset that loss, so that you come out positive. And really, you can only do that with whale moves, and it's still a fucking risk, and it's a pain in the ass to deal with as well, especially if you're left bag holding. So, you know what I mean? If you can remove all those shitty parts of DeFi right now and actually flip it on its side and do some money making, you can then deliver all the simple solutions on the other side, because ultimately their liquidity is what's fueling all this activity and volume, that like what Brad was talking about earlier. Okay, because the volume comes from real business, and you got to put this money to work. And what we're saying is that we could put this money to work maybe 2-3 times over, so that not only can you sustain the yields that you have to return to the normal people who don't get these yields elsewhere, but you can protect people's assets at the same time, but not only, maybe to use the money 2 or 3 times over. And then sustain the development of your ecosystems. That's the key. If you keep creating somewhere where the developers can come, get paid, then cool fucking shit. Okay? Then we are going to grow like wildfire.
Hey, Cash, I just want to reiterate on something phenomenally important that you brought up earlier. You mentioned I lived in the Middle East for a number of years, and you mentioned that RFI enables the Muslims to invest in a religious way without those boundaries. That's huge. I hope that no one's got any religious issues and those type of things, but that is so much money. I mean, when I lived in the Middle East, I saw what money was doing, and the power that could be enthroned upon RFI. Having that ability is just massive.
Yeah, Cash talked about it a little bit at the beginning. I think maybe before you linked in. He didn't really talk about the massiveness of it, but he did say that it opens up basically a whole world. A whole world.
Seriously, it's a whole part of the world. Yep.
Yeah, and I just wanted to reiterate that to our listeners, that how big that is. A lot of people never lived in the Middle East, never been to a lot of these countries, and they are wheelers and dealers. They're the essence of trade. Like, we're talking Egypt, level of trade throughout history. So there's a lot of money in those countries, and to give them peace in their religion in order to operate is huge.
Yeah,
is absolutely huge. So that really just blew my mind when I heard that, and the importance that is to their people. So well done to RFI. I mean, that is just massive. It's massive news.
No, it's good. Cash, you said that you needed to go, so if you wanted to say any parting words and then just head off, and my wife's waiting for me
honestly,
as well.
this has just been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Katie will testify. I love to talk. I think last time we did this, I just talked over everybody. So this time, looking at all these bits on the screen, seeing it pop up, when to stop the talk. So, but no, really enjoyed it, and we need to do this more, because it's easier. It's easier to tell you stuff than it is to type it, because a bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's an intimate thing, you know. What we do in this industry is actually, there's an intimacy to it. I'm not trying to sound weird here, but there is, because
No,
you know the point that you call it a community means you've got an emotional attachment. So the reason we're all here is that we all have that attachment, and that's what makes what we're building special. Is we'll keep finding really, you know, simple things that we need to deliver, but the more people that we can bring to the community so that we can learn from their experiences, I think that's the real big important part. And what Chapo and RFI Jesus and the rest of the team have been doing, Damo, I know you've been doing it as well massively, is building out communities in new jurisdictions. And that's what we want. We want to be able to welcome all the communities in the Middle East, in Africa, because these are huge amounts of people there. Huge amounts.
Yeah,
So,
and not just regions either, but walks of life, like the diversity of experience that brings in different types of communities. We have artists here, and one thing that brings us is like potential for the NFT community, and we have business people here, you know, and that brings in a certain type of skill set and network. And same with our engineers and our community people and our movement builders and everything else. It's amazing.
amazing, guys. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being
I know I'm here anyway, but thank you for having me, listening, and love the support as well. And if you haven't finished your purchase and you've been KYC approved, seriously, get a move on, because we're going to whitelist people very shortly. So place is going to be up for grabs.
Yeah.
Thanks,
all right, boys.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Cash.
Have a good evening. Take care.
Care about that.
Bye.
Peace.
What a Chad.
Cheesy, you're back, mate. Cheesy jumped in a chat that me and Chapo were having yesterday. So it was, so I had him actually naturally unmuted, and you popped in, and we're also just didn't realize that you were fully unmuted. And Cheesy's a new like member of our community. He's been part of I can't remember the coin you guys were talking about, but anyway, it's cool to have you. IYF, that's right.
IYF.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Cheesy. What up, buddy?
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
Right on, man. Aussie?
Yeah, mate.
Damn, more of you.
A few more
Jeez.
of us.
Yeah, look out, look out.
It's great. No, it's good fun, man. I'm having a blast working with you guys. Absolutely, like crazy. I love it.
Is there anything that anyone else wanted to talk about? I know that's a general question that I try to stay away from, but if not, then I'm probably I feel like my eyes and my brain are a bit fried, and I'm looking forward to putting my computer to sleep for a moment, because it's done a lot this morning with the stream.
We'll have to give you an upgrade for sure.
And the stream's gone for, you know, it's almost 3 hours. Yeah, flip me. This is cool though. Like, okay, actually, a question specific. How have you guys felt for any Twitch watchers? How have you guys felt? Has this been nice? Has the sound been okay? I could imagine it not being perfect. I can already tell by certain things, but look, for the first one, like, this has been pretty flippin' good. So I'm but any comments that you guys want to make about how this format worked? We've already heard you guys that that like text because of just the ease to translate into other languages, and we will have to work through that, but we've definitely found, I can already hear it in like the comments that Cash and Chapo and Steve and myself and Damo are saying, and is that this is definitely the best format that we've had, but we do want to figure out a way to be able to accommodate for every language that we possibly can. And that might mean that we need more volunteers willing to translate videos of the YouTube version of these. That, of course, like, it's a shame that they can't get it live, but that, if anything, I just encourage that this is not meant to be the only RFI community. Like, start your own communities, bring Cash on, you know, to your community with a translator. Like, he'll do it. Like, so Yeah. Oh, yeah. Andrew Popes. So you've figured out Popes? By the way, Popes is something to do with NFTs, where when you guys enter into these,
Hello.
yeah, you're here. Yes.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Andrew,
yeah,
about it.
Oh, just for anyone to know, Popes are to give people NFTs who attend events, particularly Discord events. So as much as you guys are on, I'm sure that like a great integration, something that Twitch is really actually good at, is gamifying attendance. So there might even be a place to sort of see whether we can code in an integration where we can give everyone that's in Discord and on Twitch an NFT, because like an attendance NFT. So that's what Popes are, and we're trying to figure out a way to implement them, but they're at a very early stage. So yeah, what did you want to say, Andrew?
Brad, real quick, one thing we were talking about with the Popes is part of the reason we're doing this on Discord is because it offers us an awesome format, but also because we want the people, we've got 40, 50 people still on this call. We want the people who are still here and paying attention to be with us on Discord, because it's awesome for organizing. And it's way easier to go much deeper with each other on all the various topics, because you got all the threads right next to each other. You know what you got access to. Unlike Telegram, where you may be a part of the main group, but then how do you find the rest of the groups? There's like 7 different topics going on. And so we want people to find their way to Discord as much as possible, especially if they're still with us now.
So what I can set up a bot in Twitch that sends people to like that gives the link to just automatically goes join our Discord.
Totally. We want people to join the Discord.
If we can figure out a way to I think that once this Twitch is done, like people are going to realize, oh, like like, or they like, I want to continue connecting with my community throughout the week. They're gonna find their way to Discord one way or another. And that being said, I'll again put the link out there. Or there's a link, just a couple messages up in Twitch. Come on over, join the Discord. Yeah, no, good point. Andrew, did you want to comment on Popes?
Yeah, just to say that if anybody wanted to claim it now, there's POAP-bot is a user in the Clubhouse chat channel, and if you send that bot a DM with the word reflect, it'll open up the POAP link URL, paste in your wallet address that you want it to attach to, and you've claimed your first POAP for RFI AMA.
Could you wait, if like, sorry, you said that there's a link, can you just copy and paste that, or sorry, like, oh no,
it's really cool. You just go to the user list on the right hand side and scroll down to online. It'll say POAP POAP bot. You click its handle, and you have a little window that pops up and lets you message it, and you just type the word reflect into that message, and it will respond immediately with a unique link for you that is only open for a little while longer. And you click that link, and I just clicked it, and it allows me to enter my Ethereum address to claim my free POAP. Simple as that.
That's awesome. All right, so cool. So I by the way, I have made Pope be able to see the Clubhouse chat. So I don't know if there's something that you can do also, because I think that there was meant to be a more automated way for this to happen. Andrew?
No, if you DM the bot itself.
Oh, I know.
That's all you need to do.
Guys, let's just do it now. I'm going to do it now. How about I'm going to share my screen? My goodness. All right, let's see if I can do this. Dun, dun, dun.
And I have just claimed my POAP. I'm going to go to MetaMask now and see if I can see it in my wallet.
Oh, the only problem is that I don't want people to see my address. So maybe I won't. But actually, I'll get to the point where, okay, so no, wrong one. Boom. that right? That's not right.
Network. Oh, I have to add the XDAI network. Andrew, do you know how to add the XDAI network to my phone, to my MetaMask wallet? This is just to view my Pope.
Oh, you just did it? Awesome. So, okay. So, you right click on the, if you guys can see on the screen on Discord. So for one, come over to Discord. Now you're going to see on the right, if you scroll down, if you're in the Clubhouse chat and you scroll down, you're going to see a category called bots. You're going to see the me bot, and you're also going to see the Pope bot. Now you can right click on them and click message. That's going to take you to a direct message with Pope bot. And then you're saying that we need to just type in reflect, correct?
That's right. Lowercase.
Wait, capital R?
Lowercase, like all lowercase.
It says,
I don't know if it matters,
it already says thanks for participating in the event.
It worked.
like all lowercase.
Awesome. Whoa. Someone mute their
Star Pulse. Hitting you with the manual mute. Sorry, buddy. Star Pulse. Got it.
Awesome. All right, sweet. So then it's popping me over. Oh, sweet. So this is something you won't see, but after I click that link, which I'm going to quickly claim it now so that you guys don't take my personal one.
No, it's a unique link.
No, I know,
one else
but they can see my unique link. Not that anyone would do it, but I'm just saying. But now that I've claimed it,
well,
sweet.
You
the
never
Pope
know.
token is on its way to your wallet. This is sick, Andrew. Heck yeah. So obviously we're going to so does this event end when you tell it to end? So then if someone comes and sends reflect, tomorrow, they're not going to get the
no, can't get it.
Guys,
yeah, it's time limited.
Time limited. First ever 10 weekly reflection anniversary. This is
nice timing.
The first time that we've ever done a Twitch. This is sick. Let's go get it right now. NFTs. Andrew, thank you so much.
Yeah. So just so it's clear, these Popes are pretty cool. They're designed in an interesting way. They're minted on the XDAI network, Ethereum network. So they're free to claim, and as long as you hold it, no big deal. If you want to move those NFTs to the Ethereum mainnet and then, for instance, sell them on Rarible or whatever, you could do that, and you would just pay the gas fee for converting it from XDAI to the Ethereum net. I don't know how much that gas fee would be, but it's a one-time fee. And then it's a unique ERC, whatever, I'm not sure which, NFT. Totally unique. The only way you could ever get it is if you were here now.
Yep. So this is a unique NFT for people that are experiencing it now. Okay, so we're seeing that there's potential problems with some people. Let's help them out.
Do we what address do we use in there?
Just you would use the
address.
Ethereum wallet. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, perfect. That's what I did.
Ethereum wallet. Yeah.
The wrong thing.
So Silver. So again, go look. If you're on your phone, maybe it's a little bit harder. But if you're on computer, there's a point where it says like member list. Go through that member list. Scroll down until you see a category called bots. And I'm going to start screenshotting so that people can start seeing it. You want to right click on this Pope bot or click on it, and then you want to be able to click message. Then when you do, you're going to get to a point where you can type in reflect in the private message with Pope bot. And make sure that you type just reflect. All right, I've got the next one. Where are you? And just follow the link that it gives you. So there you go. So that's the DM right there. Type in reflect. It's going to send you a link. Take that link. It's your own personal link with your own personal NFT. And then it's going to just give you a very simple interface. Paste your Ethereum address in it. Click claim and you get it. It's gasless. That's insane, actually. What the heck?
Yeah. Like I said, if you want to make it an ERC, I'm not sure which standard, but an ERC NFT, you have to pay the gas fee once to convert it from the XDAI network to Ethereum mainnet. But
Cool.
Otherwise, you can look at it in your wallet. It's the same as any other NFT.
Oh, that's fine. Look,
totally.
that's a
100%.
better way to go about it. Like, you
Absolutely.
Most of the time, you don't even, as long as you own it. Then, of course, if you want to utilize selling it, go for it. Like make it a. I don't think it's an ERC. It's a whole nother.
Well, it's an ERC, but the number like a 1155 or what have you, 721.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but note that the only time anyone ever has to pay anything for that is if there's going to be some profit made on it, or some, you know what I mean?
Clout.
So
people pay for clout.
Yeah, it's perfect.
They got the first one. So
they'll already have the clout. If they want to make some money on it, they'll have to pay a couple of bucks. But
if they lose the clout,
free. You just have to show up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
If they sell their NFT, then they've got no proof that they were here at the beginning.
Truth. Yeah. It's cool stuff. We're looking forward to playing with NFTs in a bunch of other ways too. If you guys have any ideas of how to play with some NFTs, we've got some, and we're stoked to explore them. But if you have any, let us know. Obviously, it's an explosive space right now. We want to engage with a lot more artists and get into all that.
So someone on Twitch is asking as well, Alani. So go to Discord. This will be the last time that we describe it, but go to Discord. You'll easily gain access to the Discord just by clicking a little emoji once you're in. My daughter's trying to open up the garage. Hilarious. And then once you're in the club, once you're in, go and search for a bot within the server called Pope Bot. Direct message them, send them a text message just that simply says reflect. It can have a capital R, it doesn't matter, just reflect. And if you've done it right, you will get a customized link that they'll take you to a website that then you can copy and paste your Ethereum wallet, and you will be able to claim your NFT. So we don't need to describe it again. It's all in the text with screenshots. You should be able to see it. That's incredible. Thank you so much, Andrew, for setting that up. And now we can really push that for attendance. Because I'm pretty sure, Andrew, you're able to set up like a time frame that, of course, like we would probably, have a max. I think I'd like to end this maxing out at 3 hours, with including hopefully even 2. This is pretty long, but we'll see how things flow. But you can put a time frame of the actual event, and I'm pretty sure that you can design it, because I played with it a little bit, that if you jump into Clubhouse chat within the event time, and you type in chat, I think you can at Pope there's a command though that you can send the Pope, and you'll be able to get it'll actually DM you first once you've done it. So anyway, thank you so much. That's like, and Andrew designed that NFT. So we got to get Chapo and Steve back in here. And actually, it's a shame that Cash missed this. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm sure that you'll try to tell us days before. Crypto Muscle, just go in and read all the comments. People talk. But Damo, do you reckon that it might be worth just at least closing the stream? And anyone that wants to move over to Discord to keep the chat going, then you can just move over to Discord. Does that sound good? Anything last to say?
No, I mean that's totally cool. In the future, is there a way for us to be able to keep the stream bit going, just so we're capturing history until it closes out each week?
Yeah, but like I think it's important for people to know that there is a close and that they can move over. Like I can just leave it going, but
no, it's not necessary. We're just shooting the shit.
Well, yeah, I think what'll happen on my end is that I'll get this file that's, rather than a concise beginning and end, I get this file that now I have to figure out where's the right part to send to YouTube and all that. I'd rather, yeah. And also I've got a family, so I want to, like, you know, I miss having brekkie with them, so I want to go see them. So I don't want to just leave my computer just running.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so I feel like it'd probably be just like nice. And this is also another call to action. Twitch people, get over to Discord because we're about to close this. So
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else to say? We can keep just chatting though.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can just kick it if anybody's got other things they'd like to talk about. I missed a bunch of messages over here while I was trying to work through the Pope stuff.
Oh, you know what? You know what I can do? I can close the stream, but I can record on my actual computer. So I'll do that. If you find that there's anything worthwhile.
Cool, that's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah,
right,
come on over from Twitch to Discord if you guys want to keep hanging out.
All right, we thank you all for being here. Still 25 people on Twitch, which is just freaking sick. I just couldn't believe it. I legit thought we might have like 10 people maybe. And then to see 60 on there, at like, I was just like, what the heck is, you know, that we don't see on Telegram, like when we were doing the live.
Yeah, we never know.
And if people aren't talking, then we just don't know. This is it's really cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna close the stream, but please move over to Discord because we're gonna just keep just chatting. Thanks, guys. Stop it now.
Thanks, guys.